What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Full Scale Outdoors Podcast. I'm your host, Dale Luganbill. On today's episode, I sit down with a couple guys from an organization called Hometown Heroes Outdoors. Great dudes, and we'll get into explain what that is. Real quick, I guess I can just tell you, they organize hunts, nonprofit. They organize hunts and fishing outings and camping and hiking and pretty much anything outdoors for veterans, active military, cops. They set it up. I mean, they kind of work together, and it's a great thing. So I reached out to them on Facebook and found out that one of the guys, Tony Tessing, has been holding out on me because I actually had met him before. He didn't say anything about this. Tony came out to our flight companion at the Bigwood Brewery, and he sat through almost the whole thing. And so, he's a loyal listener to the Full Scale Outdoors podcast. He found my podcast by listening to Doug Glimmervine's SmackDown Outdoors podcast. So that's why I like to work with other podcasters out there. So if there's any other podcasters out there that are listening to this, or if you know somebody that you think would be a good fit, let me know. I'll contact them. Maybe we can do a little collaboration. Anyways, back to the subject at hand. So I reached out to Hometown Heroes Outdoors because I saw a post on Facebook. And they're like, yeah, talk to Tony Tessing. I didn't know what Tony's last name was. I know it was Tony. I met him at the flight companion. So I get on Facebook and send him a message, and he comes back. I see his picture. I'm like, wait a minute, I know that guy. I'm like, what the hell, Tony? You're holding out on me. He's like, well, I didn't want to blast you with. I'm like, blast me. You got something you want to talk about? Let's do it. So, anyways, they're willing to come in and sit down, and so it was great. So I talked to Tony and his, partner, whatever you call it, the event director, Andy Graff of Hometown Heroes Outdoors. So it was a great conversation. I mean, great conversation. Time flew by, like, just can't even imagine. By the end of it, I felt like I'd known these guys for, like, forever. It was just a very natural conversation and really good stuff and a really good organization. So enjoy this episode, and if you're so compelled at the end of it that you'd like to help out, they kind of tell you how you can do that. First and foremost, just go give them a like on Facebook. That's huge. Follow them. I think our Instagram too, I do believe. But we get into all that. So instead of listening to me ramble about it, let's just dive into it. And let's do it. This is the Full Scale Outdoors Podcast with Andy Graff, Tony Tessing from Hometown Heroes Outdoors. Oh, here we go, boys.
Go.
Ooh, I love that sound. This is a good one. We have a little bass. I call it a little bass, and it really irritates my brother-in-law because he caught him as a kid, and they got him mounted, which was a big deal for him because they didn't have any money back then. I don't even know how he afforded. Somebody must have had to give him a really good deal. But anyways, there's a bass mounted in the cabin up north, and it's a terrible job. I mean,
bummer.
I think there's a picture of him holding it. I'm not sure they got the same fish back because it's painted like a smallmouth, but the bass in the picture is a largemouth. So I don't know what that's about. Crazy.
Wow, little feedback.
Oh, wicked. That's never happened. I was like, where is that sound coming from?
Don't leave my phone there.
Yeah, make sure my phone's off.
Oh, yeah, good call.
I need to move this. I usually sit there, but I was like, well, it might make more sense to have you guys sitting on the big couch, but I want to lounge way back here. Actually, I probably can now that everything is going. Totally lounge it back.
All that off.
All right.
What was your turnaround time on his mount? Those hen and drake?
Oh, it's not quick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the good ones aren't.
Yeah,
they aren't.
It's not quick. And when I dropped that off, I asked him what the turnaround time was, and he's like, "Are you in a hurry?" I'm like, "No, not really. I'm just curious." He's like, "Well, when I go into the freezer and I feel like doing a gadwall, then I'll work on it. I'm like,
wow.
I actually really like that answer because he's going to be into it.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good
You know
way
what
to
I mean?
look at it, too.
Like,
yeah.
I was like, that's a really good answer. I'm
it's
like,
not like, oh, I got to do
oh,
this
yeah,
now.
another day at the office, you know.
Another
Yeah.
wood duck, another mallard,
Yeah.
another mallard.
Yeah.
And, oh.
I went like most of my life without any trophies whatsoever, and then I shot that wood. That's like the only good wood duck I've ever shot in this
That's
state
beauty.
right there.
Yeah.
Sure.
I didn't even know this. Still, if you look real close, they get these little hair-like orange feathers towards the back.
Yep.
And I'd never seen that before. When I picked it up and put it in my hand, I was like, what the hell are those feathers? Holy crap. I think they call them ribbons, I think is what they're technically called.
Yeah, he's well plumed out. He's pretty.
Yeah, that was a good one. I knew as soon as I shot him, too, 'cause he just rolled over. I was like,
It's good, too, when you don't just murder him. When, turn him into a pillowcase right in front of your face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want them in tight, but not if you want it.
Yeah, not if you're mounting them.
Not if you want a trophy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the Gadwall came on a trip that almost didn't happen. So we went down to Nebraska. We were going to field hunt for geese, ducks, snow geese, whatever. Bought the trailer down there, had a bunch of stuff and field decoys. And we scouted all over that state, and none of the geese were using Nebraska. They were still in South Dakota. They were using Lewis and Clark Lake, which is right on the border, but they'd get up and they'd fly into South Dakota. We found one field that was huge mallard feed going on it. Almost got permission for it, and I think that was a blessing in disguise because we were like, well, we don't have anywhere to hunt. We're just going to have to cut our losses and head back. I'm like, unless we can hunt the river, get on a sandbar or something, we don't have a boat, Like, what are we going to do?
Did you have this conversation with Doug?
I might have told this story, yeah. It's
With,
very possible.
yeah.
Doug on SmackDown Outdoors?
Yeah,
podcast?
that's how I originally found your podcast, is through him. And I really enjoy yours quite a bit.
Thank you very much.
The Joe Heinz and
Nick, that
Nick
was a
Johnson.
great one down in Hutch.
Dude.
That was a good one.
Dudes are crazy.
Yes, they are.
I partied with them that night. It was fun.
So
bet.
I'm a little slow. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I have like 30 different podcasts I listen to on a weekly basis, and like yours is in the hard rotation because I'm trying to catch up. And
I gave you a couple weeks to catch up because I was slacking and didn't get episodes up.
But no, and I listen to there's a couple waterfall podcasts I listen to, and there's a lot of veteran podcasts that I listen to. Not so much anymore because they changed, and I don't appreciate what they changed to. But your podcast is I've had a lot of I was like, holy crap, he said that. With Nick and Joe, and
man.
just think of the things I don't say.
Right.
Yeah.
right.
Like, oh, can we say this? Like, you're like, tell the story,
I
tell
can
it.
say anything.
Yeah.
There's no holds bar. I have no boss. I have my own boss. So if people don't like it, just don't listen. right?
Exactly.
Tune it out. If I say something that offends somebody, shut it off right then and there, delete it, never listen to it again. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't need everybody. I want the people that appreciate, basically, in my opinion, like real sportsmen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, outdoors people. I mean, like, from day one, my vision of this podcast was those stupid, goofy, dumb joke conversations you have sitting in the duck blind or at fish camp or whatever, the off-color stuff you say with your buddies, all that shit. Like, literally, I'm like, I want that on this podcast. I just want that recorded. And so I'm like, that's what I'm trying to, and I'll have more structured ones, when we get into like what you guys, your organization, what you guys are trying to do is going to be, obviously going to be a lot more serious. We're talking about veterans and stuff like that. And
It's not that serious.
well, I mean, it is and isn't. But when I get around like Nick Johnson and Heinz or my, my slacker ass fishing hunting buddies who I have not yet even had on this podcast because I can't ever get them to sit down. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But those are just going to be nothing but retelling the same stories we've told 8,000 times, stupid jokes, teasing somebody about who knows what. Like all the inside jokes that have been going on for forever, and we'll have to give some backstory into the inside joke so people can get caught up. Like, what the hell are you talking about?
Getting the weeds there, yeah.
Well, so I told my wife what I was doing tonight, and she's like, what the hell? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go talk about what we do and who we are and all the cool stuff that we're up to and what we plan on doing. And she's like, why would you do that? I was like, I went to a brewery and watched these guys, listen to these guys talk for, I was able to stay for 3.5 hours.
You're a trooper.
And I had a blast on it, and I re-listened to that episode, and I was like, holy shit.
That turned out so much better than I thought. I mean, the next one's going to be better because I'm not doing full size. I'm not doing pints.
Yeah.
Like I got
I was Ty.
Ty got us drunk.
Yeah,
on
Ty.
purpose.
Oh,
that was premeditated, by the way.
That was good beer.
Oh my god, dude! I still it'll hit me randomly. I'll just I need to stop in the big one. God damn, that was.
I need to get some more of that blood orange Hefeweizen.
Yeah, so I actually texted. Now I have his number. I get to bug him, and I was like, "When's the Weisenheimer ready?" Because I need. He's like, "Oh, we just sold out." I'm like, God damn
it. In our area, there's Garpish. That's in East Bethel. I think
I need to check. I have not checked that place out. It's right in the backyard here. I need to go check them out.
My wife loves it. I have yet to go there. She's gone there a bunch of times with her sister. And then there's 10K in Anoka, which
I've been to that one.
I went to high school with the owners, and Ashley, she does a good job of producing a good product. And then Invictus in Blaine.
Invictus, yep.
They have really good food too. But yeah.
I got a bunch, and I got to get I need to pick up the slack on that too. I think next one I kind of have my sights on is for a flight companion is Hammerheart.
Okay.
Just because it's Ty brought it up. I've been there, and I like their beer. But
that helps.
He's like, I just want to go there, listen to it, so I can heckle Austin.
I remember that.
So I'm like, deal. I love that. That's why, and you've taken this ball and ran with it, the whole bass versus walleye trolling thing, and I appreciate the shit out of it. I love it. He's trolling me
with trolling
hardcore.
Pictures.
On
pictures.
Social media,
Yeah.
#trolling his life, and every time I see it, I'm like, you son of a bitch. I love it, and I say that with a smile on my face every time.
It's just kind of who I am,
But that's the other thing. There's so much animosity towards each other, even in the outdoor realm.
Oh gosh, it's crazy.
I mean, legit fights over bass fishermen versus walleye fishermen,
which is dumb.
and muskie fishermen versus walleye fishing. It's like, come on, man, we're on the same team. With that being said, I love a good ribbing. I love a good
good jabs, right?
Yeah,
it's all fun. Yeah,
and as long as you're saying it with a smile on your face and you slap each other on the back and you share a beer and you cheers and you can get as brutal with the insults to me as possible as long as there's no real animosity.
Yep.
And you'll get high marks if they're funny.
Yep.
If you actually make me laugh, if you can stump me, then I'm like, okay, I owe you 5 beers.
I'm kind of a weird fisherman when it comes to things so I primarily target walleyes, but I just fish to catch. I don't care what hits at the end of the hook. 99% of the time it's a walleye, but this year I've kind of I try to learn something new every year to add to my arsenal. And this year I went a little different because weed walleyes. And I'm like, all right, how do the bass guys fish weeds? And so now I've been throwing a lot of Texas rigs, a lot of bass techniques.
Been flipping?
Yeah.
God, I love that flipping.
Just doing stuff like that. And I dabble in muskie here and there, but
weed walleyes are a thing, man. I mean, so many people are hardwired to rock, sand. You got to be on the rocks, got to be sand, the break lines.
Got to be deep,
dude.
Got to be deep.
8 to 14 feet, cabbage on Mille Lacs. Promise you, there's a shit ton of walleyes in there. Middle of summer, seen it with my own 2 eyes.
I have a spot on our lake. If you go 8 o'clock at night, don't care what the overcast, sunny day, whatever. Doesn't matter. 8 o'clock at night with a 1/4 ounce jig. Keep it as straight as you possibly can. 4 feet of water. Could be 110 degrees with 80-degree water surface temp. You're catching 16 to 18-inch walleyes.
See, I could do that. That would be fun.
Yeah.
Trolling's involved. I'm out.
It's a
Trolling is I mean it's fun and it's a good time, but it's kind of boring.
Yeah.
You're just sitting there and just going back back forth.
Can't. I mean, like trolling cranks, that wouldn't be so bad. But I guess if I'm really being honest with myself, the thing that just bores me to tears is Lindy rigging.
Yeah.
It's just sitting there with your bail open and your finger on the line, waiting for that light, that tap, let it go, and then you just like gotta let it go for sometimes a ridiculous amount of time.
Smoke a cigarette.
Yeah, it's dumb, and I'm like, and all that for a 14-inch walleye.
Yeah.
Fuck off!
Yeah.
I want to go flip for bass. This is stupid.
So the lake we're on is just north of Mille Lacs on the east side, and it's extremely deep. It's the DNR says that there's no walleye in there, and it's kind of funny because it's like, all right, yep, just keep those
telling people that.
yep,
Yeah.
keep those numbers out there. And
I'll do you one better. I got a lake that I go up there. Thankfully, it's surrounded by private property, and I have access to it. It says there's no fish in it due to freaking winter kills. It's only 5 feet deep, the whole thing, and it is packed with giant fish. Walleyes, pike, bass, crappies, bluegills.
I'm gonna need those coordinates.
we got one of those.
Yeah, basically.
Huge walleyes in there. Huge.
So
Wow, that's
stupid.
even better.
Long Lake.
Why are they even in there? I don't even know why they're in there.
Long Lake.
Yeah.
It's just north of Mille Lacs on the east side, right off 47. It's a huge. It's 125 feet deep in the middle, and then there's a trench that's 80 feet, and guys will be trying to fish like the mid-lake structure. There's some sunken islands and stuff out there, and I just kind of chuckle because they don't know where to catch fish.
How the mid-lake structure, how shallow does it get?
It'll go from 120 feet to 4 feet deep.
Oh, just giants.
Yeah.
It just comes right
And
up
then
and
Underwater
expires.
mountain.
Yeah,
Dude,
it
Island
just,
Lake like Duluth is like that. It's ridiculous.
But I'll be watching these guys trying to catch walleyes in 18, 19 feet, and it's like they're not there. They're not there. And you'll see me pulling lead core straight down the center and just
Suspended.
suspend walleyes 30 feet down, 25 to 30 feet. And 4th of July week, we pulled 4 fish out of there, 20, a 28, a 30, and a 32. I didn't catch them. Not mine. But I netted them.
A 32, dude.
That'd be nuts. So
30's going on the wall if I ever get one.
It went back in the all of them went back in the lake.
my cousin, he's just the biggest probably shit talker you ever met. You've met
I
him.
like him
Ethan.
already.
I know. So he was raised like my dad's sister is more well off than like my family was. So he was very spoiled. Pool in the yard down in Florida. When he catches bass, he's going to Okeechobee and you're getting the 12 pounders. Oh, what is this Minnesota State record? It's like, yeah, pack sand. So my uncle takes him up to Rainey.
I thought it was pound sand.
No, yeah, pack sand, pound sand.
Pound sand, whatever.
So my
Kick
uncle
rocks.
takes him up to Rainey, and they're fishing, and it's super high water. This is like 5 years ago, and he caught like 3 walleye in his life. And he goes, God, I got a snag. And my uncle's watching. He goes, I think you got a fish. It was like 32 and a half.
Jesus.
Just an absolute monster. And it's like, you little shit. And he's like, oh, how's that walleye competition going? I was like, first off, I said, contact me when you catch a sturgeon, damn it, because I caught a nice one this spring on Rainey. I think it was like 64. It was nuts.
That was a big fish.
Oh, man, it was 45 minutes of like, water's murky. I don't even know what's on the end,
Did it jump?
No. Never jumped until I saw it when it rolled on its belly. It was like, holy shit. Like it's this big around. I'm holding it like this. It was
so awesome.
Oh,
I
it
have
was
got
crazy.
to do that one of these years. I say that every year, and every year I don't do it, but I have got to do it.
Yeah.
We did a fundraiser fishing tournament when we started our Wisconsin chapter in Siren, Wisconsin. And I was on Yellow Lake. I think it was Yellow. And there's sturgeon in there. And that is the craziest, most... It's unexplainable. We're sitting there. I was pulling lead core because I was trying to just catch fish or find fish. And all of a sudden, a fish that was probably mid-50s jumped from me to you away from my boat.
Scared
And
the hell out of you.
Scared the hell out of me. So Apparently, according to the guy at the bait shop, when the sun comes out, they start jumping or something.
I guess I never really paid attention to wind, but they do jump just out of the water by themselves for no reason. I was working on I worked on the new Stillwater crossing.
Sure.
And I was there for almost the whole time. And
Just see him jumping.
yeah, they just jump.
Jeez.
And it's like if you see one, then it's going to be a jumping type of day. Then you're just going to see them all the time. I don't know what makes them jump, but
I think
jump all the time.
I think we counted like 18 fish, and these weren't small fish.
No.
It was just holy crap.
Yeah, they're big.
Yeah.
There was just they just caught one
Oh,
like Minnehaha Creek or something.
Caught.
Those kids.
Giant one. They noodle it.
No,
Wow.
they snagged it with a rope.
Oh, they snagged it with a rope.
They
I saw they
roped it,
saw it, and then that's why I kind of figured that they didn't catch it like rod and
Yeah.
reel. But whatever. I mean, they caught it. I mean, it's not. They didn't angle it. They caught
Yes.
it. They did capture it.
They captured it.
But
yeah.
still, that's a tiny little stream to have that big of a fish in it, man.
Have you seen that video of them trying to get it?
I haven't
Yeah.
watched
And
it yet.
Oh, man, they're like holding this rope, and it's kicking their ass. It's like their front row at SeaWorld just getting splashed, and it's just going nuts. And it's like
they put a lasso around its tail.
Yeah, tail
And
rope.
just yeah, I was like, I'm impressed that you could pull it out, but you shouldn't do that.
Yeah, as long as they
whatever.
let it go, that'd be fine. I think they beat up on the rocks or something too bad. But.
I remember growing up, my parents have a lake place on Green Lake near Princeton.
Yep.
I know that's
They've been there since '92, and I haven't been there in years, and neither have they. But it was early spring, and I was walking around the shoreline. I was probably 10 or 11, and I was walking around the shoreline, and all of a sudden I saw probably a mid-40s northern.
Jeez.
I'm like, oh my goodness. Like from me to the corner of that blanket away. I'm like, slowly back away, and I ran towards the cabin, and I ran inside, and I was going to grab the net. My dad was like, what the hell are you doing? I start running out of the cabin. I was like, there's a giant northern. I'm going to go catch it. He's like, you can't do that. That's illegal. I'm like, why? I'm going to.
Whatever.
Yeah,
When
whatever.
you're a kid, nothing's illegal.
Right, yeah. Laws.
Rules. I was thinking, like, it probably is illegal what those kids did, and I hope the DNR doesn't do anything about it, because that's just kind of cool. I mean, they're going to have a memory for forever, you know.
They're
brings awareness
probably going to
the-
get talked to.
Yeah, they'll get a stern talking to and a finger wagging and whatever, but.
Like, did you see the kid that caught the northern, or the muskie on St. Croix probably 3 weeks ago?
Mm-mm.
He literally was walking in the water with his clothes.
Oh, yeah.
And he went down and grabbed it like this and walked out of the water with it. And, like, they're like, oh, you should put that on the news. And there again, I was like, probably shouldn't.
Yeah, maybe not, but it's still that's impressive. Balls on that kid.
I know he and his family got talked to
Yeah.
by the conservation officer, because I know that conservation officer.
Okay.
But he wasn't going to ticket him, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, and that's fine. I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
hey, let's not make this a thing so kids go out and try to do this. And, you know, in the state of Minnesota, noodling is not legal. It's not a legal method of take. So
I don't know why anybody would want to.
I would do it.
But just
I
to
did
say
it.
you could, because it's not easy.
No.
I mean, if you were snagging him at one thing, but you come
Well,
up, you sneak in and
no,
It's
snatch
just
it.
thing is, it's just like it's not going to be a problem. I mean,
Right. No.
How many times does that situation even arise? Much less. I mean, it's just not going to be a problem. The thing is, when it comes to conservation officers, they have to uphold the law.
The letter
And,
of the law.
Yeah, and so even if they're like that's kind of cool, but you can't do that.
Yeah.
I mean,
No.
They have to. I mean, they have to. That's their job. I mean, they have to.
It's like when I think of noodling,
Catfish.
I specifically think catfish. Right. And like there's a girl I follow on Instagram,
I probably know who exactly you're talking about who does this shit.
Hannah Barron.
Yes.
Hannah Barron, yeah.
She's
Oh, my gosh.
but I couldn't imagine. Like I remember watching, was it Discovery Channel that had a show
Thing
about
on it.
noodling?
I think so. Yeah, like a bunch of people that would do it.
And
It's like,
they're like, guy on the show was like, yeah, I lost my fingers to a snapping turtle. I'm like,
Turtle Man.
no thanks.
live action. There it is.
No, thank you. But,
Dude, yeah, that would be. But I'd have to try it. I mean, I can't let some 95-pound
Email.
show me up.
Huh?
I mean, not to sound super sexist, but it's like, listen, if she can do it, like, I got to get in there.
I'd be wearing, the butcher's gloves.
Yeah.
With the chain mail.
Oh, come on now.
Snapping turtle. They got
Just reach down. Oh, cut my fingers off. No big deal.
That's why I go with the guide, because the guide's not going to have you put your hand in a snapping hurt. I've watched it. What the guide will go down there and he'll check out the undercut bank, or a lot of times they actually purposely sink like 55-gallon drums, because that's where they like to hide out in there. So and they know where they're at. They just set up a milk run and they'll check all these spots. And so he'll go down and he'll feel around like, okay, there's one down there, and he'll coach you how to do it. So if you want to do it, say you do it, and virtually eliminate the risk of losing a finger to a snapping turtle, just go with the guide.
Yeah.
Is your finger worth $350, $400, whatever a guide fee is? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Because that ER visit's going to be a lot more expensive.
But I still think I'd want to go catch, like, if I was down south where it was legal, I think I'd want to go bass fishing.
Oh, I know. Gosh, they get big.
Well, you can do both.
Isn't it?
It's not like one or the other.
Isn't it Kentucky that's got those big walleyes, or Tennessee or something?
Well, Tennessee holds the.
Yeah, Tennessee's got some giants.
It's got the. It's a contested world record.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because apparently it was 35 inches, 25 pounds. But
Unreal.
they found like 2 pounds worth of lead in it.
Oh, I'm sure that happened totally by.
So
he was eating my sinkers.
It was 23.
Losing jigs left and right all day.
It was still 23 pounds, but
yeah, still.
It had weights.
Yeah. Way to wreck it. And whatever happened to that
North Dakota guy?
North Dakota dude?
Snagging.
He got
Is that what it was? It was
he got
snagging?
to keep the fish. They didn't make him throw the fish, or he didn't get the fish confiscated, but he doesn't hold the record.
Because this is how I understood it. And I didn't follow that story very close. But it sounds like he caught it like legit, but the hooks were outside. So it may have hit, and I've had this happen. You get hit.
Oh, yeah.
And then the hook in the mouth doesn't get, it rolls, and you end up cross-snagging him or something. So it's like he wasn't snagging it on purpose.
Yeah.
It's not like he saw like, oh, there's a state record, and he's out there, ripping it, trying to snag it.
Mike Long.
Yeah, exactly. So he actually caught it, but again, letter of the law, it's got to be a state or a world record. It has to go by the rules.
When I saw it and everybody started questioning it, and like I'm like, you sure it didn't spit the hook and roll?
That's probably what happened.
I've pulling lead core. It's notorious that you'll winch that fish in, and then as soon as you put it in the net, it
rolls.
Comes
but
out,
I'm guessing
rolls.
they probably looked in the mouth, and there probably wasn't a puncture
hook
hole or
marks,
something. But that doesn't mean it didn't take a swipe at it, miss.
Sure.
I mean, whatever. It sucks for him.
He still caught it.
Missed it by that much. Yeah,
He's
if he
still
got
on
to
the
keep
wall.
it, it's still going to be on the wall. Yeah, for sure.
That's all that matters.
Thing's just a donkey.
Toad.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. All right, so we didn't even introduce you fellas. Introduce yourselves.
Okay, I'm Andy Graff. I'm an event coordinator for Hometown Hero Outdoors.
And I'm Tony Tessing. I run the social media stuff for Hometown Hero Outdoors.
Tessing. I was going to get that so wrong. I was like, is it Thessing or Thussing?
I always thought it was
so it's
Thessing. Yeah.
neither.
I've heard it all.
Got it.
And I'm used to it. So
Cool. All right. And what is Hometown Heroes?
I'll start. Okay, I'll start. So Hometown Hero Outdoors is basically we're a 501(c) nonprofit that gets veterans, active duty members, and law enforcement officers out into the outdoors at no cost to them. That's our goal. It doesn't always happen, of course, but basically we just get them outdoors with like-minded individuals. I mean, that's cut and dry what it is, right?
yeah, we can. Wow, how do you put this? Our main focus was a lot of hunting and fishing, but within the last year, things have kind of developed into other things like foraging, and we had a foraging trip and golf, and basically trying to get people off the couch and together with people that may have shared similar experiences in their careers.
Well, I got a spot. Chanterelles are just starting.
I don't eat mushrooms.
All right, get out.
You got
There's the door.
You got wild
I mean,
asparagus.
well, yeah, but we're not in. That's a spring thing.
I want asparagus so bad.
Yeah, asparagus is great. I love it. How do you not like mushrooms?
Is
Is it a texture?
It's a texture thing.
All right, I'll give you that.
And cream of mushroom soup is
still
just
weird.
gross.
I disagree with you on that one.
Well,
I like pork chops and cream of mushroom soup.
Just about anything.
prime.
Cream
Yeah,
of
wow.
mushroom soup,
Anything
I mean,
duck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the lazy way of making duck.
Yeah.
Well, cream of bacon soup is better. So
Well, it's bacon.
Well, yeah, bacon wins.
Anyway, so how long has this been going on? Or like, how did it? What's the inception? Take me back to the beginning, contemplative stages.
So the founding members, there's 6 of us that are still active. We've been around for about 3 years. Not as Hometown Hero Outdoors. We got our start with a different organization, and then once we got fully invested into that organization and got a look behind the curtains, we found some things that didn't sit with us both morally or legally. So we kind of cut ties, and we had a weekend up on Lake of the Woods for a little cast and blast, shot divers, and
Nice.
we drank beers and kind of determined, hey, we can't stop doing this because there is a need for it. And so we started October 2017, and we've been balls to the wall ever since. In the last, it'll be 2 years in October. We've gotten over 500 service members. That includes law enforcement and military, out on everything from Lake of the Woods ice castle trips to stuff with Tony Roach has helped us out. Brad Hawthorne's helped us out. And the way we kind of do things is we have 42 staff members
Base. Yeah.
across North Dakota, Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania's coming soon. Am I missing one?
Not yet.
Not
I
yet?
think we talked about another state, but that's not. It's in the works. So.
And we're all very accomplished outdoors, men and women, in either law enforcement or military background. And we're all 100% volunteer. And we either set up trips on our own, whereas, like, for instance, this Saturday I'm taking 2 vets out to Mille Lacs. A vet that I met 6 years ago never has caught a walleye before.
Well,
he doesn't want to keep
that's
one.
going to change.
He doesn't care. He just wants to catch one. So I'm taking him out this weekend, or like our bigger trips.
Well, I mean, the Lake of the Woods trip that we did. How many people were up there? Like 90.
Yeah,
It was a pile.
there was 30 ice castles, something like that.
Yeah, and just go have a great time and kick back. Not a lot of fish get caught because that's a lot of lines in a small area because we kind of cluster and then we help provide meals and we kind of hang out and do whatever. But, I mean, it's just a camaraderie trip mostly. You're there just BSing with friends. And we've seen people actually reunite that hadn't seen each other since they served, which has been really
that's
cool.
badass.
Yeah.
So actually, Sean Knobloch, he's our Wisconsin team lead. First time I ever met him was out on Big Marine. And we had a little fish palooza, we called it, in the winter, and just get some people together, get outside, enjoy Minnesota for what it's all about.
Yeah.
He came up, and a guy that he served in the Marine Corps, he hadn't seen in 27 years,
Long time.
came over and met him because he lived just over in Hudson or something. So
Crazy.
just reconnecting people, but
That's awesome.
yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it's a great way to give back. And what I like about it is I get to hear people's stories. I don't get anything else out of this other than I get to hang out with some pretty cool people that have done some pretty cool
for
things.
sure.
So,
And there's the camaraderie of brothers in arms type of thing. Did you both serve? I assume.
Yep.
I was Minnesota National Guard for 6 years with a tour in Iraq, 2009 to 2010.
Yeah, I'm a Navy veteran. I joined in 2008. I did almost 7.5 years active duty and then 2.5 reserves. But I was stationed in Yokosuka, Japan first on the USS George Washington for 3.5 years. And then I was at Whidbey Island, Washington. So, yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
And our board, we have conservation officers. We have
How do you get a conservation officer on this program? So
Well, we know one.
We know
We know
one.
it too. Actually, we have.
I used to know a guy. I met him randomly, and I lost his contact info on one phone. It sucks. Thank God I didn't say anything incriminating. Not that I had anything incriminating to share, anyways, because I always follow the letter of the law.
Mm-hmm.
But I was then drinking in Hibbing, and just talking to this dude, and we struck up a conversation, and we started talking about this, that, and the other thing, and then he finally spilled the beans. We'd been talking for hunting, fishing for, I don't know, 45 minutes, maybe an hour. And he's like, well, I probably should tell you that I'm a conservation officer. I'm like, no shit. And he takes his wallet out, shows me his badge. I'm like, that is badass. And I go,
Nice.
Wait, I didn't say anything today. He's like,
Just
nah,
for you
you're
reading
cool.
my rights.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
take you
yeah.
away.
So funny story. You say that though. My family, the guys take a annual fishing trip every year, ice fishing, and one of our CO staff, the first time I ever met her was in 2013. I was fishing with my family, all my uncles and cousins, and we had enjoyed a lot of beer that day. Not driving, not doing anything like unsafe.
By whose standards?
True. So I was a little lit, and I had the bright idea to walk over to the other ice house to go grab lunch, and completely didn't think anything over it. My cousin and I were walking back, and all of a sudden we see 4 snowmobiles come flying across the lake, and one of them J-hooks straights, and my cousin looks at me and he goes, "We are so screwed." I'm like, "Why?"
Lines
like-
are still down.
"Your line's still in the water, isn't it?" I'm like, fuck. And yep, I got hit with a unintended line because I could not see my line.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Got to be more careful.
and now I'm never like over 15 feet away from my line.
Yeah,
because it's
you get
just-
that is a hard thing to do, especially when you're in those situations like you got a bunch of people and you're fishing out of wheelhouses and it's just very casual and like, oh, I'm gonna go run over and grab a blah blah blah, and you leave and you just don't think about it, and there's somebody else is in there watching the lines, but now they're probably 1 or 2 lines over there, you know what they're supposed to have, and I honestly don't think. I think 99% of the time it's not on purpose. You just don't think about it. You get up, you walk out the door, you go over there, you get
Exactly.
something, you come back, and yeah, it was unattended for 5-10 minutes or whatever it is. I mean,
Even to use the bathroom, people step away from lines, and
Yeah.
next thing you know, you're like, "Oh
unattended.
shoot!"
Yeah.
Yeah, like the way that I've always looked at that law is because like people would set up tip-ups overnight and like, I'm gonna go out there tomorrow morning and catch that fish, or
Yeah, it'll set it like a trot line, like a set line. Yeah.
So you can't do that. But me, I would not, no nefarious purposes, just drunk.
No, just absent-mindedness. I mean, I guarantee you that happens all the time, and I'm probably guilty of it. I mean, I can't think of a specific time right now, but I'm sure I've done it. I had to have done it. Like, just even go out. Oh, the generators sound like it's sputtering. It probably needs more gas. You run outside and fill it up, and just don't. I mean, I usually have a jigging spoon, one rod, so I'm sure I reel that up just because I don't want that, something to take it when I'm not there.
That's usually your nice rod.
There goes down, exactly. But maybe I have a rattle reel down, I'm pretty sure I'm not reeling that up when I go out to put gas in. So technically, I'm not,
Because you can't see your line.
Yeah, exactly. I can hear it, maybe.
Yeah. I don't think that flies.
Next to the generator, I can hear the rattle from here. I
It's
swear.
really loud. No, trust me, it's super loud. I'm dialed into that tone. I got this. Yeah, but I mean, unfortunately, there are people out there that they'll put a line down every single hole in that house, and they're in there by themselves.
Oh, yeah.
And they see headlights and they just try to pull everything up as fast as they can. It's like,
Or just keep it.
or they'll just cut it. Yeah,
Cut it.
which is even worse because now you got line and hook floating around the lake.
And lead.
I freed a seagull this year that was all wrapped up in fishing line.
Really?
Ooh.
Yeah, I was fishing and I saw this. It sounded like a seagull fight was going on. There was another seagull there, and actually was kind of a fight, and they're, whatever. And I was like, what is going on? And I'm like, as I got closer, I could see that it was like he was trying to swim away. I'm like, well, there's something up with that thing. Like, he's not doing too hot. So I kind of went over there, and the way he was moving, I'm like, I bet he's wrapped up in line. Sure as shit. I mean, he was like crazy wrapped up in line. It was around his wing, around his his leg, in his beak, and around his beak, around his tongue. Like, he was all bloody. I'm like, holy shit. Of course, that ungrateful little bastard was trying to bite me the whole time. And let me tell you, that's the first time I've ever been up close, personal to a seagull.
Yeah.
Dude, those beaks,
they're sharp.
mean business, bro.
Yeah.
Those things are like, it was, clamping his beak shut, and it was making a loud noise. I'm like, I don't want to put my fingers in there, but there's no other way to, I just started cutting line and pulling it out, and I finally got him. And then, so I, in hindsight, I could have done this better, but I didn't know. So I got him free, and I sent him up in the air to fly away. But he couldn't really fly. I'm sure he was tired, from struggling, trying to move, and everything was tapped out. So he just kind of fluttered back down and was swimming around. Well, his buddy, wasn't his buddy, clearly. As soon as he saw, he just came over and started kicking the shit out of him.
Survival of the fittest.
Yeah, he was going to eat it. I bet if he'd have killed it, he'd eaten it. Seagulls are, dude, they're ruthless.
They're
and I was like, okay,
sky.
if I hadn't, knowing now, if this ever happens again, I will do the same thing, but I will relocate that seagull to a nice quiet place with no other seagulls around it so he can recover on his own time. But I was like, well, I'm not rescuing you twice. You're on your own, pal. I did what I could. I already risked my digits trying to get you free the first time around, you ungrateful prick.
That's one thing with, like, loose fishing line. I have a tendency to, people just ball it all up when they're taking it off or whatever. I'll take my blowtorch to it and melt it into a clump. That way,
yeah, that's
it
good.
Flies out of my garbage
I have
can.
a little, like a container I keep in my boat, and anytime you get a bad snag or something like that, then I do coil it up like that, and then I just throw it in there, and then it goes in a bag and into the trash.
Because I've seen garbage fly out of garbage cans, and it's just I don't want a fish.
It sucks. So when I saw that, I'm just like, I kind of felt guilty. I didn't do it, but as an angler, I'm like,
we all play our part to keep
mountain bikers
clean.
aren't causing this. You know what I mean? It's like, accidents happen and stuff. So it's like I held some responsibility because what caused this animal harm was an activity that I am doing right now. Like I was doing at that time. That's how I found myself in that situation. So it's like we got to do better at just be mindful. If you get a snag, whatever, and you break off. Where did it break off? Did it break off right by the jig, or did you notice it broke off in your rod guides or whatever, and you got 20 yards of line? If that happened, man, try to go get it. Get as much of that line as you can. I'm not a super tree hugger, like save the whales kind of guy. I guess I kind of am, but I'm not flowery like that. You know what I mean? But with that said, I don't think it's too much to ask to just be aware of it when you're out. Just try to minimize the risk. You're never going to stop it. It's just
there's always going to be those people
happens.
that don't care.
Yeah.
You're picking up trash. Like, we've done that before, even like picking up trash after people walking out on a lake, and you just see people leave, and you see cigarette butts, and you see just trash, and it's like, really? Come on, guys.
I don't know if I'm hyper aware of it, but I feel like this last winter was the worst.
Really?
For ice fishermen, just leaving trash.
You saw it a lot on the Facebook pages.
Dude, I found personally, it was like, what the hell, dude? There was full chairs left out. Like, the old school metal, and you get stuck at the kids' table at Thanksgiving, those fold-out chairs, like one of those. It was ridiculous. I'm like, I just don't understand. What I don't understand is, like, you're pissing in your own pool.
Yep.
Right.
This is what you like to do. You're out here recreating because you like to go ice fishing. Is that your idea of a good time? Yeah. Going out there and seeing a bunch of shit laying out everywhere, and you got to kick over this just to drill your hole? Well, then why do you do it? Why do you leave it there for somebody else to experience that? It's just, I know half of them probably shit-faced, and they lucky enough to find the landing as they drove off the lake, but still, it's not that hard. Throw it back in your truck.
Or whatever. In the bottom of your tub.
Take it out.
Right.
Brought it there. Take it out. It's really, really not that difficult.
Pack it in.
And
pack
cigarette
it out.
butts. Come on, man.
Oh, those.
Put them in a beer can. Put them in come on.
Come to any stop sign or stoplight, any intersection, it's just littered. That's
all
there is. It's crazy.
So littering in general. So I'm old enough that, like, littering was just a thing in the 80s growing up. Nobody gave it two thoughts.
Yep.
You just got done with your McDonald's and out the window and went. I mean, it was like keeping your car tidy. I mean, literally, it's like it just wasn't on our radar as not a smart thing. Finally, awareness kind of, started picking up, adopt the highway programs, and then just teaching people like, hey, man, don't litter, right? It's gotten a lot better. You don't see a ton of trash. Yeah, sometimes stuff flies out of a pickup truck. I mean, you see some trash, especially after a long winter, snow melts, and, a whole winter's worth of garbage that's out there.
Shows up in May or March.
But it's not like we used to walk the ditches for aluminum cans, to turn them in for money. I mean, that's not really a thing much anymore.
Unless you live in those states like Michigan where
where they have a deposit where you get where it's worth doing it.
Actually worth it.
But oddly enough, they don't have that many because you're not going to throw a quarter out the window.
Yeah.
You're gonna see bringing that home and put it in your garage. You're gonna wait till you got enough to go buy another case of beer. But I don't see as many people actively littering, except cigarette butts. People are still just constantly fling, fling. I see sparks down the road all the time, and usually I'm just like irritated. But I do get triggered sometimes when we're in like a drought situation, which we were a few years ago.
And it's super dry.
And it's like tinder dry outside, and I see somebody flick a cigarette. I'm like, you asshole. It's bad enough when there's no chance of fire, but when there's a chance of fire, when wildfires, grass fires, whatever, I'm like, oh, I literally get triggered. I get irritated.
I'm still somewhat of a smoker. I use the e-cig unless I'm going fishing. Then I'll buy a pack of smokes, but I'll keep an empty pop bottle in my boat, or I don't smoke in my car. That's it's crazy. As somebody who used to smoke every single day, I see somebody flick a butt out the window. I'm like, you're just kind of a trashy human being.
It's an asshole move. It's an asshole move. It's a selfish move, and and that person might be a great person 99% of the time, but that 1%, that time you're not a great person right at that moment in time, because you're thinking, I don't want this cigarette butt in my car.
Yeah.
So you're gonna just let everybody else deal with it because you don't want it in your car.
So what I did,
you can't throw it away when you get to wherever you're going.
In my old car that I just got rid of, I roll the cherry out into a pop can, and then I shove the butt where the crack where the window goes up. So the door, if somebody ever took that door apart, is probably full of cigarettes.
Full of cigarette butts.
Yeah. I didn't litter.
It rides left a little.
Yeah. It's just kept shoving them in there.
So it starts rusting out on the rocker panels, and then it's just a breadcrumb trail right back to your house of cigarette butts. So like, what is going on here?
That car went to the crusher. It was done. So
probably clogged up the crusher. Like, what happened? I don't know. It was got an influx of cigarette butts and jammed up the whole works. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I mean, even chewers know to spit in their can, and
You ever drink a spitter accidentally?
Oh, don't.
Yes, I
say
have,
that.
Actually.
So
I have a terrible story about that.
So when I deployed in 2009, I chewed and I smoked, and for some reason people just collected spitters, and some of the places where we stayed.
What the shit?
You'd walk in, and some soldiers, their rooms would just be, holy crap, there's spitters everywhere. Well, I had a spitter, and for some reason I chose, what bottle did I choose? I don't remember. A water bottle, and I left it right next to the side of my bed, and I woke up in the middle of the night and didn't even think about it, grabbed a swig of it, what I thought was a water, and yeah.
Was it like that type of swig where you're getting a few glugs in before you even realize what you're...
Did you swallow it?
Yeah. I just went straight down. And
so, I got a similar story. Not with nobody's collecting them. But
I did not.
The guy I was working with
one spitter
was chewing. And, he had his spit cup or his can or whatever. And so I'm drinking this generic soda, Nobody else drinking it. I know it's mine, and we had the first morning coffee, whatever, and I finished it off and thinking, whatever is in the cup holder. We go back to work, come in for lunch, dig in my bag, grab the new can, go to throw away the old one. I'm like, I still got swallow in there. Threw that thing back. It hit the back of my throat. And I had a split decision to make. I can either continue to swallow this and chug the real one as fast as I can, or spit it out, which will result in me vomiting. I chose the prior, and I just like
gutted it,
and
huh?
I was like, what? I was like, what the fuck, dude? And he's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I mean, because nobody else has this can. He's like, and I always peel the top off, so I know that it's a spit cup, and I just didn't do it that time, and I didn't think anything about it. And generally, I mean, I've worked around construction workers for a long time, and I'll give it, I'm like, is that, if we're all drinking Cokes or something, I'll be like, all right, we're good. Like, because I'm, like, aware of that. But I'm the only one drinking this particular brand. There's no reason for him to have been using my can.
Yep.
Oh, it was bad. So bad. And so, like, the random thought would just hit me in the day, and I'd be like, ooh. I mean, really, it was more, it's the thought is the disgusting part. Because it was a minty drink, basically. I mean, if I take the grossness of swallowing somebody else's saliva out of it, like, it just tastes, like, the taste, the feeling was effervescent and minty.
Syrupy and...
But I know what it was, so that's the problem. That's why I was like, so gross. But yes,
a lot of Red Man.
Red Man?
Yeah.
long cut.
Long cut.
I can't, dude. I chew like once every 20 years, and I get high as a giraffe's ass.
Yeah, it's...
That's the thing. Like, I can smoke weed, which is not for me, and it takes me way too much to get high, and then I don't even like it when I finally get there. So I'm like, it's not for me, but knock yourself out. If that's your thing. I think it should be 100% legal. I won't go on the rant about that, but that's neither here nor there. However, nicotine, woo, flying, man.
I love nicotine.
I don't like it, but I
get
only
the buzz.
like it on the way up to a certain point, and then things start spinning. No longer having fun.
Yeah. I don't remember that.
I did it this last fall in North Dakota. We were just bored. It was a frustrating day. We had scouted this lake. It was absolutely shit stacked with divers, and there was geese everywhere. We're like, this is going to be awesome. We got permission for it. It was like, yes. Get set up in the dark, set up, and the birds just never showed up.
This last duck season was one of the most frustrating and difficult that I've had in a while. I mean, because my dad and my family, I'm getting off topic here, but we always go to Canada. And I remember we were driving, and we almost always go the American opener, end of September. We're like, we're going to go the first week of October. It's going to be great. We had that wacky weather that pushed. I remember we're driving. We just started getting west of Grand Forks on 2. And I said, shit, that's a big flock of snows this time of year. Okay. And we keep going, getting closer to Devils, and it's just clouds. And I'm going, are we driving by all these birds? And we get up to Canada, and I remember my dad knows some people up there. He's been going up there for like 25 years, doing the big hunts. He'd go up for a month when he was younger and just crush birds. And so he knows all these farmers, and he's like, oh, God, we got birds everywhere. And then we show up, and it had gotten cold, real cold, to the point where you could walk on a slough. There was that much ice. And then we had one lake that held some birds, and it was just like, oof. And the stupidest thing we did, we walked across the border, found the first gas station, bought our license. And it's like, why didn't we scout before we said, hey, let's go spend this money? So now we're obligated to just hang around and try to scratch some birds. But I just remember thinking, So then the following week, I said, God, I told my uncle, I said, he didn't have his North Dakota license activated yet. I hadn't had mine. I said, I saw so many birds, let's go. Yeah. We get there, and damn it, they were either stale or they had pushed south. We found some, but then, you get to the spot, you get one huge feed, and we saw like 7 different trucks, 3 Minnesota plates, 2 North Dakota. We're like, it ain't even worth fighting this.
That's what happened to us is we hit stale birds.
Yeah.
It was really tough, but still fun, though. We still shot birds. I mean,
still have fun. Always have fun.
And it was a horseshit snow goose hatch last year, which it's supposed to be a good one this year. We're going to shoot the shit out of honkers this year. There's so many geese around right now.
I was worried with that snow we had late. Everyone's like, "Ooh, I don't know," but
they did fine, man. There's so many.
I just got done with the Police Academy, Skills Academy up in Alexandria, and there are geese everywhere up there.
Literally everywhere in the state right now is just like, this has to be like a record year for goslings.
Oh my goodness, just stuffed full of geese, and I said, "Oh, it's gonna be good." So
it's gonna be a good year.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one of the cool things. I'm just getting back into waterfowl hunting. Did it as a kid with my dad and some of his coworkers, and then he we stopped doing it and didn't do it for years. And Andy and another one of the staffers, Scott, kind of put that metaphorical crack pipe in my mouth and lit it. And
I've hooked a couple people.
Oh, man,
give them
it's
the free,
brutal.
give them the free taste.
oh boy, it's I stopped deer hunting altogether. I find no joy in deer hunting whatsoever. The whole hanging out in a duck blind.
What he talked about earlier is doing a podcast where you're telling those duck blind stories and you're laughing. The first time that I went to Canada with my dad and all his buddies, and they're telling these stories, and I mean, it's basically an ab workout and drinking beer.
For real.
Because you're just and of course you're
Stomach
ragging
hurts.
on people, and all of a sudden it's someone else's
Cheeks
turn.
hurt. Yeah.
Oh
It's
gosh,
just the best.
I love it. I love it.
It's the best. I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's. I shot a woody, my first woody, and probably so that was 2 years ago, with Scott, and we were out on Big Marine, and like he missed, and I just balled it in one shot, and it was. I should have mounted the damn thing, but it tasted so damn good.
Yeah.
I love duck, dude. I love and geese, dude. People, I hate when people say, "Oh, it's so gross."
As long as you don't
Learn
overcook
how to
it.
cook it, bro.
Don't-
That Nick Johnson you had
Yeah.
does those goose burritos. I follow him on like Snapchat,
Yep.
and it's just like, gosh, those look so good all the time.
Yeah.
I'll make goose tacos, and they're just bomb. They're so good. The guy I made them I got halfway through the snow goose season spring season last year. I started guiding for Premier, and so I had some of the other fellow guides there. I'm like, we're gonna cook some of these up, and so I made some of them. They're just like they went like that. I mean, it was like just
I gotta
gone.
try that. Is that just regular straight up taco seasoning?
Regular old taco seasoning.
Man, I love tacos.
So good.
You want to talk about like the snow goose was like my God. I want to shoot a snow goose. And I was up in Canada with my dad, and occasionally see some, but usually so early, don't get them. We shot Ross one year, and I was like, oh, that was cool. So my first true snow goose hunt. Talking about the crack pike in your mouth. My uncle called me up. He went up ahead of me and scouted, and I showed up like at 2 a.m. We're getting up at 4. I get out there, and it's kind of like a foggy, windy day. I know it's kind of hard to explain, but we set up in this field, this cornfield, and we were kind of lucky because they landed in a wheat field about a quarter mile away, and they were trickling over in 7s and 10s. And the first day, 3 of us, we shot 67. And so many times I'd watch, and I'd have 15, I'd go 1, 2, 3. And my uncle would just used to watch. I'm like, why aren't you shooting? And he goes, oh, it's kind of fun to watch you shoot. You know, and then I'd go 1, 2, 3 and miss. He goes, you know, it's pretty cool to see you go 3 for 3, but it's even better going 0 for 3. You know, just laughing. But then, of course, you get that crack pipe taste where it's just the greatest day of your life. And we got to pick out because it was cloudy and they were low. Those just stud blues, big bald eagle headed blue geese that were unreal. I look back and why didn't I mount one?
That's so nice.
I kick myself. And you get that crack pipe and you're like, oh my goodness, I need to do this a lot.
Yeah.
And then last year was unbelievably tough. So then it's
it was
just
really
like
tough. But I had like the opposite experience. I mean, I was already a waterfowler, so I mean, I was already hooked on that obsession. But the way I got hooked on like snow geese was like the opposite. When we finally went out and did the snow goose hunting thing, we either shot one or we got skunked. I don't remember, but it was the image that burned into my brain. Like being in the middle of that spring migration is unbelievable. And I tell anybody, I said, if you're just a bird lover, if you like duck hunting or whatever, you gotta go. You have to go in the spring migration because it's not like the fall. The fall's a trickle. In the spring, it's one mass exodus. They're all trying to get north and breed as fast as they can. Like every duck you can think of in full breeding plumage by the hundreds, by the thousands sometimes. And the snow geese numbers are just, I mean, you put yourself in the middle of a National Geographic special. It's just unbelievable. You just can't prepare yourself to see it in real life. You're just like, what?
Yeah.
So one of the trips that Andy set up last year was a duck hunt.
Waterfowl hunt.
Waterfowl. Waterfowl, duck, whatever. Near Aiken, Minnesota, and we had the opportunity to hunt wild rice fields.
Yeah, that were farms that.
Oh my Jesus!
And it was like I got some shooting in, and I think I got one duck the whole day, but
I'm still frustrated about that hunt
dude,
because of the weather.
Well,
I'll go ahead, finish your story, then I'll explain why it was frustrating to me.
I don't care what. So decoys, we could have had a million decoys out there, and it wouldn't have mattered because there was a field that they picked, and when you have 10,000 birds and one live birds over decoys, they're going to pick it.
Really hard to compete with live birds.
And we're sitting in the distance watching these things just cyclone down, and it was nonstop all day.
It was, and we got a little. So the day before, a friend of ours, me and him went up there. We're going to scout it, and if we would have had shotguns, we would have had a limit because we had birds everywhere. There was water everywhere. We had geese, we had ducks, and I was sending these guys videos. And we had a Facebook group of who was going. I said, guys, check this out. And I'm full on. We're going to all shoot limits tomorrow. It's great. That night it froze, so all the little ones were frozen. And I think the field they were on still had open water, but we still scrapped together. I think my group shot 7 or 8 geese, and I am a poor man's goose caller. I'm known, Nick and Joe, I listen to those guys. Our booth at the game fair is right next to the goose calling. And what they were saying when you had that show talking about the mallards where they're doing that high pitch, just doesn't even sound like a duck.
Mm-hmm.
I love the goose because those sound like geese.
Yeah.
And listen to those guys. I'm there's so much more room for my improvement, but I'm good enough to kill a bird.
Right, yeah.
And so we got a couple in, and we shot a couple ducks. We shot a really nice teal, and we had a great time though. And then again, but the show that was National Geographic in Minnesota, which is even more rare in the fall. It was so nice to see so many birds.
It was just crazy to watch all day long, and I had fun. Plus the night before, stayed up way too late.
Yeah, that'll happen.
The morning before?
A few years ago, we had a super warm, late November. It was 70 degrees late November.
Jeez.
It was no wind. My buddy Joel and I went up to Mille Lacs. The fish were smallies. I think we caught more wallies than we did smallmouth. But we're fishing around Garrison Reef, and then we're let's go try basically the aisle. I mean, crank up the range. You go about in the middle of that lake, and the biggest raft of divers I've ever seen in my life out there. I have video of it somewhere, and it's just, they get up and they're just doing the spin thing as they're getting ready to get back down. I'm just unreal. Wow. We need to invest in layout boats.
Right.
Yeah.
That's such a thing, though, because you got to have the
vegetation, or you got to be attached to
Minnesota.
Not on the big water. Yep, not on Mille Lacs.
You're
right.
And there's a couple other lakes, so they did legalize layout boats now. But you have to have a tender boat. So you have to have a bigger boat, because the layout boats aren't designed for traveling to and from. You anchor them things, you climb in, and that's just
sure.
And that's it. So you have to have a boat to get those things out there. Somebody always has to be on the boat. Binoculars. There, somebody downs birds. You got to go get the birds. They can't do anything.
So it's basically a guide.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, somebody's got to stay back and take turns or something. I don't know how that works, but basically, you probably just one day I'll be the tender, and then and then tomorrow you be the tender, or however it is. But that would be so much fun.
I used to deer hunt southeastern Minnesota late season. Family owns land down there, and my deer stand overlooks the Mississippi River. And you can see Minneska from there.
Swamp donkeys.
Yeah.
Bad.
Look up the Stan Krademacher buck. That's my second cousin.
Wow.
No, it's my mom's second cousin. So it'd be my third.
Whatever. I don't know how all that works.
Me neither.
But nonetheless, there's a lot of big deer down there, but hunting late season sucks, especially when you hear guys popping ducks on the river. And it's I'm sitting here freezing my butt off, not shooting anything.
And somebody's unloading.
Yeah. It's pop, pop.
Yeah, you hear that. When I was stationed in Washington, I was able to do some sea duck hunting. Oh, God. And out there, you're allowed to shoot one harlequin a year. So they're you got to be careful because if it's a hen, you don't want to shoot it. And my buddies, I actually knew a guy who was in the Navy but then got out and became DOD security out there. So he was stationed at that base and he just lived there, but he knew all the duck spots. We became really good friends and still always talk about hunting again. But I remember the first time, you ever seen a harlequin?
Oh, yeah.
They are
beautiful.
Unbelievable. And so I'm sitting in the blind, and we got long lines out. We were shooting surf scoters, white wing surf scoters. Then we were shooting the old squad longtail now they call them.
Longtail ducks,
Yep. And then Harleys too. And all of a sudden I could just see him. It's just a stud comes in. But as it comes in, it mirrors a hen, like, perfectly. And I was like, I can't take that shot.
Yeah.
My buddy's like, shoot behind it. And I was like, what does he keep? And he's like, next time, he said, shoot behind it. They usually split, and then you can pick out the drake.
take
And I was
the
like,
drake.
I guess
That's pretty smart.
that's how you do it. But I was lucky enough. Then later, we're kind of looking, and I'm like, there comes a duck. Like, what is it? I don't know. I looked, and sure enough, it was a Harley. Came right in. I shot, and then they dive.
Yeah.
Those ducks can really get down there.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I got lucky. I hit like one BB in the head. It went down, but then it flipped, came belly up, and I got it on the wall now, of course.
Nice.
But
God.
that was my one Harley allowed. But man, that sea duck hunting was
Those
crazy
things
too.
are unbelievable.
You got to worry about tides. You got it's a whole
Yeah.
new game out on
Yeah.
the West Coast.
Yep.
My first day, I was like mallard hunting in kind of a saltwater area, and I'm like, I think my decoys are sinking. And I was like, I don't know what's happening. And all of a sudden, like, hey, I had one that was snagged on a rock, and the water was rising.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I'm like, that's deeper than my waders.
Yep.
Buy decoys. They
Yep.
floated away. It's like, well, learn today.
Tides.
Then.
Yeah.
Tides are a thing.
That's why most people, when they hunt the seas, they hunt out of a boat. I mean, you can hunt off of rocks or something like that, but yeah, you're dealing with. You got to use long lines.
Yep. Yeah, we
And,
did that. That was fun.
Yeah, you can't. You're not just throwing out single decoys, a string and a weight, because that's not going to work.
Nope. I found out very quickly.
That's not going to work at all.
Yeah.
I want to do that bad. And we went to the East Coast this year for anniversary. Not for hunting. It was in the spring, but the eiders are everywhere down there. The eiders are basically mallards out there. They're literally everywhere we went to the coast. There was eiders.
What? I have never seen an eider before.
Oh my god!
They got like a
dude.
big, pretty bill with like green, kind of.
They have
Yeah.
tons of colors in them. These
The-
are just common eiders. But
the king eider,
still,
that's bucket list right here.
King eiders.
Oh my
for sure.
goodness.
I gotta pull this up.
You got to look up a king eider because that to me is the prettiest duck that there is. And
See, now I need. This is why we need
An
an
intern.
intern. Jamie. Intern Jamie.
pull up the eiders.
Yep.
So yeah, the common eider. Actually, I've heard of a few
And they're
people.
big. They're like.
Oh,
They're
dang.
very
That's the
big.
king.
That's
you can only shoot those in Alaska. Those kings.
And the hens look cool too. The patterning on the hens even looks bad. I mean, just check that shit out,
That's the
dude.
common eider
That's
right
the
there.
common. Those
Yeah,
things are
I was looking
everywhere
at
in
the
the East
king.
Coast. Yeah,
Yeah,
dude, that's
the
just
king.
sick, dude.
There's
Spectacle lighters.
Yeah.
There's a
Phone. There you go.
forget about that.
Little fuzz.
There's a
Mike does that. I've never.
one of
noticed.
the podcasts I listen to is
No,
called
it's just your crappy ass phone.
Samsung.
Yeah. I got that.
Not doing it. Drinking Bros. It's a veteran-based podcast. They have a bunch of different subcategories, and there's one that's called Drinking Bros Hunters, and it's mainly first responders and veterans and active military. But this guy was stationed in South Korea. He's got an Air Force job where he has to kill birds.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Need it. I'll deploy tomorrow.
Oh, to get him, yeah, to get him off the
air,
the runway and stuff.
air
Yeah,
runways
yeah.
and whatnot, and he killed this duck that it was name every single color in the rainbow, and it was that. There was no
Cool.
brown on it. I'd have to find the picture somewhere, but
Where was it? Well, so what?
South Korea, I think it was.
Oh
Seoul,
god, I wouldn't even.
but yeah,
Who
ducks
knows?
are-
There's so many ducks in the world.
All right.
I thought I knew, and then it's like every now and again one will come. I'll see. Excuse me. I'll see when I'm like, holy crap, what is that? Bacall teal. I want to shoot a bacall teal.
Oh, yeah. Or the mandarin.
Oh, mandarins. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
that's basically the Chinese version of wood.
Yeah.
But they get these fins that come up, that stick up on the back. These big orange
Hoops?
sails, kind of that stick up on the back. Pretty cool. Yeah, falcated teals are pretty badass looking. But I go down a rabbit hole when it comes to ducks.
Oh, I know.
cool.
My dad did Argentina a few years ago. And he's like, oh, look at this Magellan goose. Oh, I got shooting these cinnamon teal. We're
Cinnamon
everywhere. And
teals,
it's like,
Bahama pintails.
true story. I'm hunting with my grandfather. I just got out of active duty, and my grandpa's getting old, and he mentioned, "Oh, you want to go duck hunting?" I was like, "I'd love to go." So we're up on Big Sandy Lake. You know where that's at?
Yeah.
So we're just sitting there, and I know I've been hunting ducks for a long time. I know a lot of ducks, and we're hunting, and all of a sudden he goes, "Here comes two," and I was like, "Okay, I see him," and it was a duck I couldn't identify, and I said, "What is that?" A drake and a hen, and it was kind of red, and I said, "That's not a redhead." And I said, I don't know," and I let it land. Because I'm the type of person, I don't want to shoot at something I don't know. And then he says some word to me. He's like, "Oh, if it's one of those, we can't shoot them." And I was like, "Well, I don't know what that is either."
The canvasback?
No, no, it wasn't a can because I shoot those. And I look and it's swimming away. By this time, it's out. And I look back and that was a goddamn cinnamon teal.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
And I said, "There's no way." And I looked at a picture and I said, "For sure," because it wasn't very big. And like I know what a can is, I know what a redhead.
Yeah.
And I said, "A drake and a hen. Just they must have been in a weird wrong spot." And I didn't shoot them. I got to see it.
Yeah,
but I was like Central Minnesota.
Yeah,
Are
I've
you
seen a
kidding
cinnamon.
me?
I've seen a cinnamon in Minnesota, but it was in the spring. I was at a
Yeah.
cabin. I was just doing whatever, lounging around, walking in the yard, and I see this bird flying straight down the river, and it's a duck. So my eyes are, I'm just like, I'm keyed in, even though it's not hunting season.
Yep.
I'm like, I can just pick those things out from anywhere. And as it gets closer, I'm like, I can see that rusty orange, that red, and I'm like, no, that's not. Because right away I'm thinking, no, there's no way. I mean, why would it be here? Yeah, I'm just like, and as I get closer, I'm like, watch it pass. I'm like, fuck me.
There goes one of my dream ducks right
See
there.
in the fall, you fuck. Like,
Yeah.
what the hell?
Probably not.
No,
he gone.
No, he gone. He gone. But yeah, that was. I mean, and in the spring, he's never gonna look better.
No.
I mean, he's just full plumed.
I mean,
God,
that's the worst. Like here, you shoot the mallards that are barely starting to get a little green on their head.
so hard to get a mountable duck in this state. That's why when I shot that one, and that was mid-September or mid-October.
Dang.
So not even that late in the season. And so I'm guessing that's just an old bird.
Well, that green wing that Harley shot,
Oh, that teal?
yeah, that one was a stud green wing.
You can get some good
And that-
greenies
and that was
because
early
the greenies
October.
will come. Was it early October?
Early, that was on the trip.
Okay, because a lot of times I know you'll see this on a lot of the forums and the Facebook waterfall pages. Somebody they'll start shooting greenies late season, and they're like, "Oh, this late migrators," or somebody must be lost. Like, no. The greenies are late migrators. They come down with them Canadian mallards a lot. Like some of your best weekends for green-winged teal will be that last weekend of the season when they're finally getting pushed out of the. They're coming from Alaska. That's where they breed. In the northern boreal forest of Canada. So they're coming a long ways.
Yeah.
And where the blue wingers, they nest right here, and they're calendar migrators. They don't wait for cold. Half of them are gone before our duck season opens.
That's why, like, Wisconsin does that early teal, and
Yeah.
I almost wish we'd kind of take that and take a little break.
Doesn't
The
Iowa?
goose hunter. Yeah, a lot of states do an early teal season, but then the goose hunters bitch because you're blasting off their roosts and everything else.
Yeah.
But
Like
I
you
know.
said, animosity in
Yeah,
the,
I mean,
in the
it's
outdoor
like-
universe.
I get it. I mean, I understand both frustrations. It's like we hunt the field every year that the weekend of youth opener, our roost gets busted every time because somebody brings their kid down there. It's like, I can't be mad at it. It's like, and we know it's going to happen. It happens every single year. We still shoot them. So you're running traffic. You just have to, that day, you run traffic.
Yeah.
You're not going to be on a feed field anymore because the birds you were hunting, and they don't all come from that one way. That's one of the roosts in the area where we get some of our birds, and some come from town. It's like that day we're running traffic and we're hoping for those town birds to come back to the field or whatever. But it's like I just don't get that. I'm like, oh, I hate that they put the youth seasons.
They're
Dude,
kids.
We need more kids
We
in
do.
this sport.
We really
so
do.
take one for the team. So maybe you shoot a couple less geese this season. You gonna be okay? You gonna be all right? I think you'll be okay.
I couldn't have 47 burritos. I only had 35.
Exactly. Or scout more. Find a field.
Right.
Find a roost that's on private, or find a roost that's in town, or something.
Not only kids, but grown adults too. We need everybody.
Yeah. We can't be turning anybody down. We need everybody. We had an unlikely ally sprung up out of the hipster movement when
Really?
it came to hunting. Because it became cool to go procure your own wild foods
Well,
in
makes
your
sense.
skinny jeans and your well-groomed beard.
Oh, have you ever seen? There's a guy up in Canada, the the Hunter Chef, I think it is.
I think I've heard of it.
I think I've seen some of his
He
videos.
takes mad heat online, and people protest his restaurant. And I remember he did a video on YouTube, or I think it was YouTube. He literally took a deer carcass and
I think he's out in Seattle or something.
no, he's in Canada.
Is he?
Yeah.
Was it Vancouver? pretty sure it's on the West Coast.
Maybe. I don't know.
I'm almost positive.
I thought it was Toronto.
I think he's been on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Oh, really?
And he
pretty
essentially butchered a deer in front of these protesters and cooked it up and ate it in front of them.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah,
Bring it on.
Eat everything.
I'm tired of like tiptoeing around people,
right?
That are ignorant of what hunting is. These people, like, the analogy, here's my analogy, like people that claim to be animal lovers, right?
Yeah.
But know nothing about animals. Like, know nothing about them. But they see them on TV, and they just love them. You shouldn't be able to hunt. I just love deer. They're so majestic, and this, that. You don't know any. Here's my analogy. You saying you're an animal lover, but knowing nothing about them, is like me saying I'm the biggest football fan in the world because I think Brett Favre is cute. Now, I don't know how the game is scored. I don't even know what position he plays. I don't know what team he plays for, but he's cute, and I am the biggest football fan, the biggest. And I should have a say in the rules of the game.
Right?
You know the animal that gets a lot of hate? Or, like, if you're a hunter, you get a lot of hate?
Bears, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
So we sent a Purple Heart recipient veteran up to Canada for spring bear hunt. Just, 2 months ago?
Yeah, it wasn't long.
And,
or you can shoot 2.
Yeah. And the field staffer, Matt, and him both shot 2 bear. And, like, that's pretty freaking cool in our books. And we're super proud of this. And we posted up on Facebook. And usually, we can have hundreds of pictures of dead ducks, dead fish.
Yeah, that's fine.
As soon as he's standing there with a dead bear, he's proud of that moment.
Hell yeah.
And he's smiling, and all of a sudden we started getting hate. It's like, all right, click ban. I don't want you.
Yeah.
Like, you realize this is an outdoors group. Like, this is our thing. This is what we
it's
like
just,
to do.
It's just so it's so hypocritical because those people are probably eating meat, and they're supporting factory farms, which are way more atrocious than any wild animal that's ever been harvested. That's my point. Like, they're so ignorant of it. They have no actual real knowledge about it, but they're so dead set against it. Why? Your opinion means absolute dick to me. And I'm not going to change my wording to I harvested this bear.
Right.
I'm not going to, I like to take clean pictures because they look better to me.
There was not a lot of
Right?
blood on this picture. He had his firearm, and he was standing behind it.
Yeah, but for me,
still
like,
got the
some
hate.
people are like, some people will get heat from other hunters if they take that deer picture and the tongue's hanging out, and it's like, we have to put a better image out. No, fuck that. We don't have to put a better image out for these anti-hunters because you're never going to win them over. Here's the thing. It's a slippery slope because every time you give in, you're like, we're trying to soften the image. We're doing this. They don't care. They fundamentally have a problem with it based in ignorance and based on emotion only. You could give them all the leash in the world, and they're going to take all of it and ask for more. So why give them any?
Yeah.
Don't give them any. Now, I would prefer to look at a picture that's clean, where the tongue's not hanging out. It's just more aesthetically pleasing to me to look at.
Completely.
So I will tell people without judgment, without berating them, without making them feel bad, like, hey, here's a way you can make your pictures look a little better. You put them on your desk, you can look at it, and it's just going to be more pleasing to you. Mm-hmm. I'm not worried about somebody walking by going, oh, my God, that's so gross. Fuck that guy. I don't give a shit about him. But you looking at your own picture, reliving the memories of that hunt, the whole reason you took that picture. That's why we have mounts. That's why we have pictures, because you just want to relive that moment. It reminds you of it. So why not have a really good picture?
Exactly.
So yeah, tuck that tongue in. Cut it off if you have to, if it keeps flopping out. There's
My dad
ways to do
the
it.
small rubber bands that you can tuck under the fur right
Oh
around.
yeah, right around
Yeah,
the. That's
yeah.
a good idea. It's a good idea to do it too. It's just a cleaner, better picture. You're gonna like, you as the person who killed that animal, you're gonna like that picture better than the one where the tongue's hanging out in this back of your pickup. It's like, I'm not gonna guilt you if that's the picture you got, but why not take a good one?
There's a couple pictures. So when I took leave from while I was deployed to come home for deer hunting. And
True outdoorsman right there.
Yeah,
He's on deployment. I'm going to take leave during deer season.
I came home to go shoot deer, and I had 2 tags.
I'm like, what the hell? Where's that coming from? Stupid Samsung.
So I had 2 tags, and I shot a doe because I don't care.
Yeah,
Deer's deer.
Meat, man.
And all of a sudden, a fawn came out of nowhere. And I'm like, oh, fuck.
Don't bother me in even a little bit.
Well, it wouldn't leave. And at that point, I'm like, it's a cold, brutal winter. Turn around, rack another slug.
Well, if you got a tag, hell yeah.
You got it.
Fawn meat's delicious.
It is. It's very tender.
But there's a
Don't
picture.
get as much, though. That's the problem.
There's a picture of me on Facebook. I was probably 60 pounds lighter. Yeah, 60 pounds lighter. I had this doe on my shoulder, and, like, I got crap for it. And I'm like, I don't.
Listen, I'm not proud of it, but I shot one of those out here on my property a couple years back, and, yeah, instead of dragging it, I just threw that thing over my shoulders and carried it back to the yard. I mean, but you know what? That was the only deer I shot that year, and so I was like, thank God I did.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and in this zone, most years I can take 3.
Oh, wow. Nice.
So
Meat is meat.
it's meat, you know. I mean,
Yeah. When you boil down, like, you know, duck season or deer season, like, you think about, like, price per pound.
oh,
You know,
God.
going to the whole activism and the whole hunting's bad. It's like we were sitting there last year on duck opener, me and my buddy. We're, God, you got a Benelli M2. Gosh,
Yeah,
I got the A5. I got this. Well, how many thousands in decoys we got
Yeah,
out? What
ammo,
about your waders? These
gas.
are 300. It's just like this duck is like, you know, like hundreds per pound.
Yeah, this is the most expensive meat on the planet.
We shot 7 ducks
Yeah,
today.
that's why.
Like,
That's why you get these arguments. You know, even
Yeah.
within deer hunting, it's like, I need that meat for my family, dude.
You go to McDonald's, it's cheaper.
oh
Go
yeah,
to Cub, bro.
Cub
Yeah.
or whatever.
I mean, I'm just saying,
ground
like that.
chuck by the pound.
If you're deer hunting to feed your family, you better have a good job.
yeah.
yeah.
Although, I mean, maybe not. Maybe you got gift. You know, maybe
And
the
there's-
rifle is
and they're
an
weekend
heirloom,
warriors, too.
And, you know,
Yeah.
you have
Just
one
show up.
box of shells, and you already got your clothes, and then it is pretty cheap. But
Yeah, the way I do it is not cheap, though. Man,
no,
like
I
you
mean,
said,
I got a brand new Matthews bow last year, and yeah, I mean, it's not cheap, but I love it. I mean,
Right.
you said you got out of deer hunting and you have no love for it. I love archery hunting, still do, and I'm pulled in multiple directions come fall.
Right,
fall
that's-
fishing's getting.
that's my biggest hang-up every time.
Fishing in the fall just gets better and better. Ducks, if the weather's right. Mid-October is pre-ruts kicking in. That's when you really start seeing buck movement, and it all happens at the same time.
First weekend of
Big bull reds are running in South
firearm.
Carolina. I want to get down there and catch those. Some bullshit.
First weekend of firearm season. Some of the best crappie and walleye fishing you can find. Period.
That's just how it is, man.
My boat stays in the water, and I'll go into the water with it until about November 19th.
I'll bass fish till I can't. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah,
literally till there's ice. I mean, whatever. That's something I could do for your. We can try to set up something for catch some sharks, bulls, reds down in
oh
South
man,
Carolina.
that would be a riot.
I got a guy down there.
Yeah, he's right here.
Is that where you're from?
Right
originally?
about- no, my brother lives down there.
Oh,
so,
nice.
we got a boat to use, and
Nice.
we've learned the waters pretty well over the years. And it's fun.
What kind of sharks are you catching?
You get Atlantic sharp nose. You're gonna get bonnet heads, black tip sometimes.
Okay, I was gonna ask you
You can get duskies. I mean, they're all down there. I mean, right? It depends when you go. I usually go in the fall, so a lot of the sharks have left once the water starts to cool down. So it's primarily sharp nose and bonnet heads. But if you go early, if you go right now, you can catch tiger sharks. You can catch.
Really?
You go offshore, you can catch great whites. You can catch.
Whoa.
I mean, everything. Bull sharks, lemons. I mean, they're all there. They're all there.
Catching a hammerhead would be kind of cool.
I caught one, little baby,
Really?
little baby hammer.
I actually
want
have
one
two,
just
tiny one.
big enough that I could hold
Yeah.
it.
See, here's the thing. I always tell people, like, and I'm trying to work out some sort of like Minneapolis to South Carolina guided trip thing, like door to door, like meet you at the airport,
Yeah,
schmooze you, have some beers at the bar, travel with you, get there, everything's already taken care of, you know, room set up, you go there, you fish, kind of like almost like a corporate fishing / golf outing. Because I don't golf, but anybody that golfs knows about Hilton Head Island. That's usually where we fish, and that's like championship courses. That doesn't mean I don't do it. Doesn't mean anything to me. But you say Hilton Head to a golf, and they're like, oh, they get a little chubby. So it'd be really cool just to do, half a day golfing, half a day fishing, and then you swap the next day.
What would you call that? Not a cast and blast, but a swing and fling?
Whoa.
I think that's a totally different thing,
You're getting in different territory there, Tony.
And fling.
I don't know.
There are those clubs, too. I just don't I don't think they're going to be the right ones. I wouldn't Google that.
Yeah, I'll do that in incognito mode.
Yeah, right.
You might want to clear your search history after that one. That's going to have some things on it. But anyways, I always tell people, it's just cool. So in the fall, we're not geared up for the big, giant sharks. Although we did purchase we do have a big roller rod now, so we could really go for some big ones if you wanted to. But that's a low, you're not going to get a lot of action,
Sure.
You're going to get one bite and it's going to be huge.
Yeah.
If you get bit at all, So, but the bull reds can be that way too. And I've caught multiple 40 plus inch redfish, and man, those things scream drag, bro.
I truly think
it.
ocean fish, by size comparison, fight on a whole nother level.
It's those tides. They're constantly fighting those tides. It's like a river fish versus a lake fish. They just fight better. They're just stronger.
Jeez.
The only ocean fishing I have experience with, when I got married, we did an Alaskan cruise thing, and she wanted to do a cruise. I wanted to go to Alaska, compromise, win. We went fishing on a catch can, and we're going for halibut, and we're jigging
hundreds of feet.
Yeah, 300 feet deep, I think we were. And you jigging, and all of a sudden I felt like I laced into something. I was like, oh, yep, got a fish. Start reeling. And then 30 feet up, nothing. It's like, I lost him. And captain goes, nope, he's still there. I'm like, no way. All of a sudden he's like, see that orange blob 150 feet away? That's a fish.
Oh, you got a...
Yellow-eyed rockfish.
It's
probably
spit out his bladder.
Yeah, but they all did.
Yeah, they all do.
Which is
can't not.
insane.
You'd have to reel them up so slow to not.
Tick,
it would take you an hour
tick.
to reel up that fish.
Yeah, but we kept that one.
They're tasty.
Rockfish are delicious.
It was better than halibut.
Really?
Fight me.
Yeah, fight me. Change my mind.
Change my mind.
Well. I'm
Who's
going to make 2
preparing
points. I'm going to go back to, I got sidetracked. But I was trying to tell people, I want to get people down there from the upper Midwest, because when you catch a shark, it's just cool. I don't care if it's a 2.5-foot little baby Atlantic snarf nose. You're like, dude, I fucking caught a shark. The first time I was just like, this is so badass. So my brother, he doesn't get it. He lives there, so he doesn't get as excited about him anymore. I still get excited about him. He's like, the little ones, they're bait stealers, and when you do catch them, they don't put up much fight because you're ready for a bigger fish. You're not, catch them on a medium bass rod. It'd probably still be a fun fight, but we're beefed up a little bit, so a little 2.5-foot shark ain't nothing. But he's like, they're perched to me. I'm like, I don't even care, dude. Every time and I've caught, I don't even know how many sharks I've caught now in my life, but it's like I still think it's cool.
If that's a perch to him, what's like a I don't know, a 5-pound largemouth to him?
To him, the bull reds is where he gets off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's got, and for good reason. The one that we caught last year, I brought a friend down there, and I still kick myself for catching it because I should have let him catch it. But I was standing right next to the rod, and it went, and I just instinct kicked in and I grabbed it, And he's like me. He's like, you're not handing me a hooked fish. Like, I'm the same way. Like, the times that we've had charters, I'm like, do not set the hook on my fish. I will fight you. Like, don't bait my hook. Don't, show me what we're doing. Teach me how to do it. And then get out of my way.
Yeah.
Because I know what I'm doing. I just don't know this style or these waters or what I'm using you for your equipment and your knowledge of the area. Outside of that, let me go.
Yeah.
Do not take my fish off the hook. That irritates the shit out of me too. But anyways, I'm a serial DIY guy. I just have to do it myself. But
that's part of the experience, though. Like you said, getting handed around with a fish at the end. It's like, okay,
you do that to 5-year-olds.
I love that. Yeah, exactly. To 5-year-olds. My kids, I said,
5.
oh, you caught this one.
And they're happy.
Really?
They don't give a shit.
Love it. Well, they don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, this earlier in the day, something hit, and I set the hook, and the drag just went, and I couldn't stop it. I mean, I was like, had the drag down. I'm trying to thumb the spool, which was really dumb because I actually had line burn on my finger. I'm like, I mean, it was screaming off that reel. Could not stop it. And it wasn't stopping. It literally wasn't. I was like, did I hook a dolphin? I mean, this thing this not stopping. And I finally cranked that drag down, and then the hook just popped out. So I don't know what it was.
To this day.
I have no idea what it was. I'm pretty sure it was just a giant bull redfish, though, because we were up there for a couple days. We'd caught like 1 or 2 sharks, a couple little redfish. Fishing wasn't that great. And my buddy had really wanted to catch a bull red. I mean, that's why he went down there. We were trying everything. We just couldn't get him. So we're at the tail end of the trip, like literally down to the wire, like the last hour or so. And our brother's like, all right, well, drop me off I got to do some stuff. I'll go get the boat, and then we'll meet you at call me when you're ready, or I'll call you when the boat's down or the trailer's at the landing, and then we'll go up. I'm like, all right, we drop him off. We go back out. All right, we'll hit this spot one more time. We anchor up. We get the bait set, blah, blah, blah. Hook into that same thing. The rod bounces. I pick it up. And just the drag just goes. Just the same thing. I'm like, here we go again. I don't know what this is. And then it's like, finally, it's like, I'm like, oh, he stopped. Start gaining ground. I'm like, this is a fish. And then all of a sudden, boom, she screams out more drag, and then it stops, and then it's just a stalemate. And I'm like, oh, no, I think I'm snagged now. I think he must have shook it. Something. And I'm like, and I just kind of put steady pressure on it, and then I'd give just a little bit off of it without giving him slack. I'm like, and I'd feel thump. I'm like, oh, he's still there, just steady pressure. And it was right as the outgoing tide. It was already outgoing tide, but it was like getting to peak. And where we fish, when it's peak tide, this water's moving. I mean, it's like this current is ridiculous. And so the current's just ripping, and I'm sure he's just locked in that current, and he's doing this, just barely wiggling his tail, and I'm giving it all I got, and I can't move this stupid thing. And so finally we get it up, and it's like I'm pretty sure it's my personal best. I think it was like 43 inches or something like that, 44 inches.
That's a big fish.
The shoulders on it are like this. I mean, they're kind of built like a carp. I mean, they're so strong, so strong. Oh, man, it's so much fun. But, yeah, we should get something together.
Yeah,
see what we need to do
that would be
to
a
get
riot.
people down there. It's, you really can only fish like 2-3 people additional to me.
Sure.
You could put 4-5 tops on that boat comfortably. But we do have access to a smaller boat too. So I could get my brother on board. We could get something together. We could figure something out.
That'd
a
be
couple
sweet.
people on one boat, a couple people on the other boat. You don't really want a crowd. It's going to be more fun if it's not crowded.
Definitely.
Yeah, we actually right now, our president and our Minnesota lead, and he's a board member, are on a trip to
Tofino, British
Columbia. And they're going to be doing some halibut fishing and doing some really cool stuff. So that's really awesome.
I haven't done that. I need to do that.
That was a slightly different trip. The way we normally do things is we have a public Facebook page that anybody can come see and look what we're doing. And then we have a private Facebook group, which is law enforcement, active military, veterans only. And we'll post all of our trips, our giveaways. It's a great place for any veteran-related issues, outdoor-related issues. Great place to say, hey, I got an open spot in my boat today, duck blind today, anybody want to go with me type of thing. But this Tofino trip.
This big trip, it was.
So usually what we do is you throw your name in a hat for a trip. Like, for instance, August 3rd, we have a huge bow fishing trip, taking 57 people. 57 people put their name in the hat.
Lord.
They're all going.
Is that here in Minnesota?
Yep.
Yeah, near Waverly?
Everybody.
Waverly. So
Edge Bow Fishing is putting it on, basically, right? Or Robbie works with Edge.
Yeah.
I don't know if they...
Kurt Sitch and them and Robbie. But so everybody that put their name in the hat got drawn for this trip. But sometimes space doesn't allow.
Yeah.
It'll be random draw. But this Tofino trip, it was how did we do this? It was
hey, who wants to go on this trip? Like, tell us why.
Yeah, what it would mean to you type of thing. Give us some information on what this trip would mean to you and submit it to it. And we kind of, as a board, kind of voted on it and picked 4 pretty awesome guys that are well deserving of it.
Just the bear hunt was the same way.
Bear hunt was
and
the
that
same
was
way.
I know he was a Purple Heart recipient.
Yep.
So, I mean,
That's cool.
Yeah. And we try not to, obviously these are very rare trips and very special, but like when we did the duck trip, I think there was a pile of people trying to get in there.
It was like 115 people. If
I want to say 113. It popped in my head right before you said that. So, and it's like, hey, I think we took 10, but it just gets tough. And then, we do deal with people that, sign up and they kind of just, there's people on the page that just sign up and they don't realize that, oh, well, I worked that weekend. It's like, you knew that before you signed up, but you put your name down. So that happens.
We'll have alternates and whatnot, and then there's a guy that I met through the group that I've become friends with, and he's a really cool vet. But his trick to getting on so many trips was he was always available. So we'll go through all the alternates, and we'll just keep drawing alternates until we can find somebody to go, and Ben would always be available to go.
And it gets to the point, too, we're like, gosh, that one guy that's been there on 5 trips, see if he's free, because we cycle through people.
You got the spots, so.
And then we're putting out on the group, hey, is anyone that's available tomorrow that can show up at Mille Lacs that's ready to ice fish? Because remember, we had the guided trip, and, calling people like, gosh, can you bring an extra that's a vet? Yeah, so that happens, but, life happens.
My brother's a vet. He's a Navy vet.
Oh.
Well, you should send him our way.
Yeah, tell him about us. Absolutely.
Yeah, well, he's probably listening to this.
Yeah, probably.
Good.
Hometown Hero Outdoors.org.
Well, he's down in South Carolina, so we'll get him down there and we'll get some vets on the boat.
Weren't we whispering about said state?
We're whispering about something in that said state.
I think we have a few other, minor connections.
Get a chapter in that state,
talking about it.
Maybe working on it.
Working on it.
Yeah, there's a gentleman there that originally was in Minnesota that had to move down there due to the Army. He's an active duty Army recruiter.
My nephew, my brother's kid, so obviously my nephew, he's an active Marine right now.
Well, awesome. I mean, again, and we have people that are serving active, like one of my good friends, like he's out in Washington, D.C., and a lot of guys that I serve with, and like Tony the two who are everywhere are in the group. And like we'll do giveaways that, don't even have to do with the outdoors. Like, hey, I got, like we do a lot during Christmas. We give away like Vortex rifle scopes. We have fishing gear packages. We do like a lot of, like I did I did a bunch of tip-ups and some rigging, just like, hey, do live drawing, put in your name, and we'll get hundreds of people that get on there, and then they win stuff. And just, so like every veteran could possibly benefit from our group. But if they're ever in that tough time afterwards, like we want to be there for them. And what I tell people when I'm really explaining Hometown Hero Outdoors is I have a wife who is amazing. She's everything. But she doesn't understand everything that I went through.
Right.
Now, guys like Tony that have served overseas in like Iraq and Afghanistan, and he, his wife is awesome. She's always there for him, but she doesn't exactly know. And then Tony's out in the boat fishing with a guy who has the same sand in his boots.
Yeah.
He's kind of struggling. And Tony's like, hey, I was there. And they can talk in that boat and connect on a level that even significant others just can't do.
And not even, just anybody. Admittedly, me, I wasn't in the military.
Right.
So obviously I wasn't deployed anywhere.
Right.
So I don't know what life's like in Iraq. It'd be foolish for me to say that you could tell me a story and then I'd be like, yeah, I get that. No, I don't. Fuck, I do.
Right. You say that, but
there's just no way. You have to, those kind of things, unless you experienced it, you don't have the point of reference. Yeah. And watching Hurt Locker is not enough.
Even if we didn't have the same experience, though. Like, I've never been stationed in Japan, but I'm sure that was stupid or whatever.
It had its plenty of stupid moments, I tell you.
Or whatever. And, like, I've never been to
Afghanistan. Vacation to me. I don't know what you're talking about.
I've never been to Afghanistan, but I can relate to what it would be like just from my experiences.
Yeah.
But one of the things that kind of sets our organization apart from some of the ones that are out there, I don't care if you served during the Cold War and never saw combat, or if you were, combat, non-combat, wounded, not wounded, we all went through some stuff. That goes for law enforcement also. Everybody's gone through some things in life, and life is a motherfucker.
Ain't that the truth?
And sometimes.
And that's not to say civilians.
No.
Right.
You can get
Absolutely.
mugged. You can have a gun pointed at you. I mean, you can
get
experience some shit,
spousal
and you're
abuse.
not fucking trained for it.
Yeah.
I mean,
You can lose your house, you lose your job, you lose everything.
don't care. We got
It's cold.
It's very diverse here. I got Shock Top. Tony's drinking
Spotted Cow.
I got Bush lattes over
the
here.
Bush lattes on the end.
You see that promotion, by the way? They're coming out with the actual Bush latte.
Yeah.
God.
I think so.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
I wonder who the first person that called it Bush Latte
Some
and
redneck
how it
from
just
somewhere.
stuck.
Yeah.
I mean, it just because everything. Why not Coors Latte? Why not Miller Latte? I mean, it's not.
I'll show you the dude.
I'll show you the dude. He knows
He
the
knows
dude.
the
He knows
guy.
the guy.
Yeah, you haven't seen
You
the
know the
videos?
guy.
It's pretty funny stuff.
That's funny.
But no, it disabled, not disabled, we don't care. Wartime, peacetime. Our only requirement is you honorably served. That's it. That's it. And I want to fish with everybody. I want to hunt with everybody. I'm less likely to hunt, more likely to fish, because that's kind of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
But
Tony, do you ice fish a lot?
oh yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
yeah.
So
Tell them about your trip that you organized this winter.
whoa.
Well, which one? I
Which
should say.
one?
The crappie one
that
that I helped out on.
the trip. All right, so my in-laws have a lake place just north of Mille Lacs, Long Lake.
Yep.
Decent area. And my father-in-law is a very generous man, and he opened up his lake home to us anytime we want.
Nice.
And he's got a giant pole barn that is better than most people's cabins. It's a party pole barn, not a work pole barn.
Yeah, sure.
And he's like, "How many vets do you want up?
There's no tractors in there, but there might be a few hoes on the weekend.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's a good one. I like that. That's good.
So he's like, how many can you get up here? And we did the numbers, and we did 14 service members with 3 staffers that were staying the entire weekend, and you were there for.
I came up for a day.
Yep.
Help fish and guide and catch fish.
We took care of all the meals, all the ice houses, the cabin neighbors in the area,
The bait.
The bait. We took care of everything. If they didn't have it, I begged, borrowed, and stealed locators from friends, whatever. And we had 14 service members. Everybody showed up. We started fishing on Long Lake Friday because it was close to the pole barn and an easy meeting place. And caught a couple fish that night, but fished till dark. And after that, you kind of hang out, you drink beers, you bullshit, you play cards.
Yeah.
And
And you laugh.
Yeah.
I just love
you
it.
laugh like
Just love
crazy. But the whole weekend was just fishing and that constant side ache from laughing.
It's just you can't get that anywhere else.
Where was Sam from?
So
Was
Sam is from-
Louisiana.
Oh my God!
When he
goodness,
caught it-
he's gonna murder me.
I know. I think it's Louisiana.
No, he wasn't Louisiana. He was
Sam.
Mississippi.
Okay.
Sam, I'm sorry, Mississippi. So Sam, he had never caught a fish through the ice before, like ever, and I was trying. It was kind of a tough bite, and Andy got on the spot and started hooking into some pretty nice crappies, and I was like, Sam, go sit with Andy. He'll get you hooked up. Next thing I know, he's got a pile of like
just-
9 to.
Nice.
I kind of showed him, and next thing I know, he's, I got one. And all of a sudden, he's in my house. He's catching. I'm kind of helping others. I come back, and there's crappies. I'm like, you're doing it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so then we get done fishing that night, and I give everybody the option to fish on Sunday. It can be a travel day. It can just be a eat and hang out, and you can go home whenever. Or if you want to fish, let's go fish. And Sam, after drinking many beers, was like, I've never caught a northern, ever. And I'm like, all right.
This shouldn't be hard.
This shouldn't be hard. Let's go. So the next morning, we had breakfast and ran out onto the lake and popped like 4 holes through 4 tip-ups. Was working on. We had a bunch of people out there just nursing a hangover and watching flags. And before I could get the second tip-up down, the first flag was up.
Nice.
And he caught a 22-inch northern and sadly had to throw it back because that whole slot thing.
Yeah.
And
But,
I think he caught 3 northerns before he left that day. Nonetheless, it's exciting to see people accomplish things that they've never done before.
So, like, for me, it's still, the size doesn't really matter. At least not for me, because anytime I want to check off, like, I want to catch every fish that swims.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm checking a species off my list, size is irrelevant. I mean, yeah, if you wave a wand and catch a trophy, sure, I'm going to pick that every time.
Sure.
But if I catch a 4-inch, whatever the fuck it is that I've never caught before, I'm like, boom, check that one off the list. Sweet. Next.
Right.
And then toss back.
See,
it's cool.
See, I caught a 3-inch channel cat. I don't claim that one. That's not. I still haven't caught a channel cat,
bro.
It's got to be at least bigger than my hand. I haven't caught a channel.
Jesus Christ.
No. I had never caught a sturgeon until this spring.
That's an easy one we can check out the list, too.
I got a lake by my house I'm going to go try out.
Yep, my first sturgeon was that one that was 64 inches. And people, guy in our group.
I've caught multiple sturgeon, but nothing that big.
He's huge. Sturgeon. Oh, I've been trying to break that 60 club. First one, I'm like, sorry, bro. First one.
I got it.
And he was just 45-minute fight. My hook was bent crazy.
That was on a walleye gear, right?
Walleye rod, I think it was 6 pound.
Oh, you weren't
test.
even fishing for sturgeon? You were jigging for walleyes?
We were trying to fish walleyes. We knew sturgeon in the area, but one of the rivers up there had broke, and it was super
I heard it was
dirty
bad this weekend or this spring.
But anyway, and of course the week before they were pounding some nice walleyes, but we get there and it's murky, and we had fished all day, not had a bite, and all of a sudden I'm I thought because there was debris, and I'm like, oh, something in my rod. And I went, and all of a sudden, zzz, I'm like, oh, that ain't something.
Yeah.
And
it's something, all right.
Yeah, that was a fun.
Well, you got to get a hold of Captain Donnie for the spring.
He was a part of that. It was a rainy days.
Yeah, rainy days.
Yeah, rainy days. And they did a big event, and they hosted us, myself and another board member went there and got to meet Captain Donnie, who actually just did a trip for us, and they pounded big walleyes.
Yeah, I saw that on Facebook.
Yeah.
That's when I contacted you. It was weird because I didn't know you were part of Hometown Heroes. And that's why. And then when you responded, I'm like, Tony's been commenting on my shit for weeks. You'd be holding out on me. You're holding. First time I met you, didn't say anything about this organization. I would have got you on the schedule.
I
sooner.
listened to Captain Donnie. So which way did
Captain
I start?
Donnie
I listened to your first episode first.
Ramble Fest.
That was awesome. Do more of those.
Oh God,
seriously.
Only person ever that would say that.
It was great. And then I listened to everything backwards. I jumped around.
The problem is I didn't get to drink my beer because when it's just me, I don't get any downtime.
Right, you just go.
I'm just going. I'm just rambling, and it's not hard for me to ramble. It's not hard for me. I'll talk. My brain goes. It just goes. And so, literally, I cracked that beer, took 2 swigs of it, talked for however long it was, 45 minutes, and there my fucking warm beer sits. Sweet.
But I listened to Captain Donnie's 3 weeks ago because I was listening to everything else out of order, and then I saw that that trip got posted, and Tom was the staff. We like to send at least one staffer on a trip to be kind of
an ambassador to
it.
Yeah.
If we're not actually hosting the trip ourselves, we want to go between the guide or whoever's donating whatever, and the veterans or service members or law enforcement. And Tom Strung, who lives up near Princeton, super awesome dude. Extremely hard worker, Marine vet, went up with Captain Donnie, and he put him on fish. And I talked to Tom on Sunday, and he was still tripping over how awesome that was.
That's great. Donnie knows his shit.
He does.
Yeah.
I love Donnie.
Donnie's a great guy.
Mm-hmm.
Great dude.
And I figured I'd just share it to your group too because
Yeah, absolutely. That's what it's there for. The Full Scale Outdoors group page on Facebook. If anybody's not, a member of that, share it. Invite people. I have it set to public. I don't know how that all works, but I feel like people should just be able to join it. But I get requests for it from time to time, and that's what it's there for. I don't care if you're a custom rod builder and you just want a place to post your link. You're a fellow podcaster. You want a place to post. Does Doug post his SmackDown Outdoors podcast? He posts his new episodes on the group page all the time. That's what it's there for. Like that's not for me to. That's not just I have my page for pimping my stuff out, and then my personal page. And so the Full Scale Outdoors group is for everybody else. Just go on there and whatever, just talk if you want to talk about. I mean, it's just a place to share your pictures, to whatever. It's just open. It's just go on there and do whatever you want.
I dig it. It's a very
free reign.
Cool atmosphere. You have some very interesting people that post on there too.
Oh yeah. Well, it's talk about people first. And so I met Orlando. I don't know if you listened to that Buck the Black Hunter. If you listened to that episode,
I haven't yet. Deer hunting's on my, like I said.
So yeah, I hooked up with him, and we just hit it off, man. It was one of those people that you meet in your life, and you're just like you've known him forever.
You just click right away.
Yeah, like instant click. And so we set this up. He was gonna come visit Minnesota, and we're gonna do a podcast and everything. I'm like, that's cool. And that's kind of like, you know what, dude, I don't want to wait 4 months. I'm coming to you. And so I booked a trip. I'd never been to California. Like I checked some shit off, and I, so I started doing a little research of what you could do. It was kind of an odd time, so there wasn't a ton of stuff to do. It was like tail end of duck season. It just didn't work out. We tried to get some different kind of hunts together, and it just didn't work out. So we just ended up fishing off the piers because we couldn't even get a charter because there was a sportsman show going on, and literally every single charter they book the majority of their trips for the year that one weekend at that show. So it was like everybody was there. Nobody was chartering boats the weekend I happened to be in California. Go figure. But whatever, So we went down to the piers and we just fished off the pier, and so I did a little research, and they got leopard sharks down there. There's badass looking fish, man.
I'm surprised you didn't go try and catch some of those mega bass that are out there.
Oh, like in the freshwater? Yeah. Neither one of us, he's not set up for that. He's not a huge fisherman.
Sure.
So I didn't bring any of my gear. It would have been
another hurdle.
Yeah, it would have just been another hurdle. And those lakes weren't really close to where we're at. We're kind of in the Oakland area, Oakland San Fran area. And so anyway, we just fished off the piers. And I caught a couple leopard sharks. I was happy as pigs and shit, dude. This is awesome.
Nice.
It was awesome. But so then when he came here, he'd never even been to Minnesota, much less ice fish anywhere. You can get Californians on the ice, and they're, and he brought his girlfriend up, Cassie, who was super cool. And, they're driving on the ice. I had to coach them through that, and we had a really good time. And they caught some fish. And first I brought them down to up Monticello. We did smallmouth fishing.
No.
In the winter?
Brutal cold. Yeah. Actually, it wasn't too cold. I mean, for them, they probably was like, what is this? My face hurts. But the weather was actually pretty decent. And
I've float fished that section with a guy. My dad's friend's a huge fly fisherman. And he's like, let's go fishing. And I'm like, I don't fly fish. I'd like to try, but I'd love to try, but my wife already says I have enough hobbies. And
listen, another wife, you just gotta let that go.
No, no. I could sell all my musky stuff and start fly fishing, maybe.
You can get it cheap. You can get a cheap combo for like $80.
Yeah.
5 weight. Go catch some bluegills. Dude, it's a blast. So much fun.
But he was fly fishing. I was just normal hook and line, and we caught some decent smallmouth out of there.
Oh, yeah, there's some tubs in there.
That was
my brother lost his personal best there, and I have it on video. It's glorious. I made a GIF out of it.
Oh man, I bet he loves.
How often do you send it to him?
Not enough.
And
my daughter actually filmed it. It was the best thing ever. He gets this just absolute toad on. It does that big fish roll. It's like too big to even jump. It's just like, ugh. And once he sees how big it is, he's just like dialed in, like focus, and his rod's just doubled over, and all of a sudden you see that thing just go perfectly straight. He just turns out, slaps the water with his rod. It was one of the best. If I'm ever in a bad mood, I just have to watch that.
Yeah.
If I was in a bad mood and I were you, I'd just send it to him.
Just to watch his reaction.
Wait for his response.
Just never gets old. It's just one of the best things ever. But what I was going to say is, so I got those guys their first ice fishing experience from California, but almost one better than that. A friend of mine's, well, I guess it would be like, well, it's his sister-in-law's husband, whatever that makes him to him. Nothing. Makes him nothing to him.
Yeah.
But just connected.
Yeah.
But he's like from South America, like Colombia, some shit.
Sure.
He came up and, with his broken English, and we went out and caught a few panfish through the ice. And,
Nice.
I mean, he was a trooper. I mean, he's used to fighting gorillas in the jungle, and he's literally like he's a military guy down there. And he didn't say anything about the cold, and it was cold that day. It was a cold day, and my style of fishing, which is not in the house, hole hopping.
Yep, finding those fish,
getting on the fish and catching fish. This is not, hey, I'm a little chilly. Can you walk over to the thermostat and bump that up to 72? No. This is the real deal.
I just bought myself a new Otter Lodge this year, and I like that.
That's sweet. It's got the side opening. Man, that's the way to go. But I'm a hole hopper too.
The Yeti out there. If you're gonna,
I saw that. That's
just do
nice.
it.
Yeah.
I gotta pay.
Yeah, trust me.
I just
supposed
bought,
to be being rented out, and now it's just out of pocket because
Yeah, I just bought a car, and so this past winter, Tom, he rents Tom Strung. He rents ice castles as a side business, and I asked my wife. I was like, "Hey, you want to rent an ice castle for a weekend?" And she's like, "Sure." And so I forget how much it was. Whatever, it wasn't much, but we got a generator, propane, all that crap that you needed to go.
Yep.
17-foot ice castle. Grabbed the dogs, and we went to Mille Lacs because we could get the most amount of fishing.
Yep.
For extremely close to the house.
Yep.
And we determined that we need a 19-foot and minimum.
That 17, the 17 Yeti, like between the 16 to the 17, the only big difference is like the V front.
Sure.
But man, that extra foot is everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, because I looked at all the models and I'm like, 16, looks pretty good. And I walked in 17 and I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah.
This is so much bigger.
The 17 wasn't terrible, but with 2 more feet, because we have 2 dogs.
Yeah.
And it's like,
dogs.
And they come everywhere with us because they're like our kids. But
I love dogs.
Foot
I mean, we
and
got
an
2
RV.
dogs too, but dogs shrink a space real quick.
Yeah. And I just bought a new car. As soon as that's paid off, Krista said it's A-okay.
Nice.
And she's going to listen to this. So
That's good. It's totally worth it. It's great. You can use an RV in the summertime.
Yeah.
It's awesome. They're great.
That's the thing. I'd like to go camping, but I become, how do you put this? A very snobby camper.
Glamper? Is that what they call it?
I will
Glamper?
Yeah.
I will not
That's not
sleep
camping.
in a tent.
See, and I haven't camped, and I don't even remember when, and I'm jonesing to do it. I'm jonesing to wake up stiff the next day. I'm jonesing to SWAT skills. When it's raining. Like, I love the roughing it part.
Right.
Like, I really do. Like, there's some beauty to be found in that suffering. Makes you appreciate when you get back home and take a hot shower.
Or get in a nice comfy bed and go, ooh.
Yeah.
So when I was deployed, right?
You probably did plenty of that.
We had
That's why I hate it.
They had containerized housing units. They had 3 to 4 people living in a room. You had a bunk bed, and it was not much bigger than from this divider to the wall, which it's a podcast, so it doesn't do anything for the listeners. So
Let's
probably
say 12 feet.
Yeah,
12 by 12.
12 by 12. 4 people living in there, and no water in there, no nothing. So in order to go to the bathroom or take a shower, it's a 100 to 150 yard walk, and you're showering, and then you're walking through the hot desert, And then,
By the time you get back, you need another shower.
yeah. And then what's great is they did generator maintenance during the day, and I worked overnights and slept during the day. So 140 degrees out,
Oof.
AC goes out.
Oh, God.
Next thing you know, I'm lying naked sleeping on the floor because that's the only thing that's cold. And, yeah, so I want my AC. I want my comfy bed and running water.
There are nice things. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I'll
but,
pay extra.
I need to do a little solo getaway
Yeah,
trip.
you know what though? There, like you said, when you rough it like that, there's a really better connection. I did it when I was in the active duty. My buddy and I went up to Mount Baker, National Park, wherever in Washington, and we found this big sandbar next to a river, and we're like, we're gonna tent here, and the only problem is we didn't bring enough beer. We only brought whatever, but there was no big town, so the stars were
Oh my God,
nuts.
that's the thing.
Yeah.
You want to start questioning your existence
Look
in
at
the
them
universe
stars and nowhere.
When you get this night sky without any light pollution, where you can see like the Milky Way and shit, and then it dawns on you that every single speck of light that you see is a sun with planets around it. Holy shit!
Right. It is. It is truly mind blowing. And we're just sitting there,
And that's just this
in a
galaxy.
tent. Right.
And there's countless galaxies. Like, come on, dude.
Just what we
Like,
can see.
I can't
Right.
even. My brain just goes,
Are we going to get into
Ape
some
shit.
storming Area 51 stuff
let's
here
go.
now?
No. Nobody's going to do that. It's the dumbest fucking shit I've ever heard. They can't stop us all. I think they can.
Oh, yeah.
I think they absolutely have the technology to do that.
The A-10 Warthogs beg to differ. Target-rich
Exactly.
environment coming down. Yeah.
Have you seen what a minigun does?
Yeah.
Which is, you guys are military. Like, why is it called a minigun? Because there's nothing mini about that gun.
I don't even know.
Is it
I
like
don't
calling
even
a
know.
fat man tiny?
Probably.
Probably.
Well, I got this minigun. They laughed and he pulls it out and he just levels a whole village
yeah.
like it was nothing.
The scene in Predator where that dude's just cutting down the jungle.
Jesse Ventura.
if
it's
it
just
bleeds, we
whirring.
can kill it.
Bunch of slack-jawed faggots.
I ain't got time to bleed.
I'm a sexual tyrannosaurus.
Oh, God.
Jesse Ventura, the greatest idiot ever.
Governor of Minnesota, ex-governor.
Hey, I
Ventura.
appreciate that he got rid of emissions testing.
Yeah.
I mean,
The licensing where it's not a tiered, like how much your car is worth is how much you pay. Like it's still somewhat that, but it's more of an age of the vehicle kind of
Yeah.
a thing, which still kind of backwards, really, if you think about it. It's
Oh, yeah.
like, shouldn't it be more expensive for the 78 Ford LTD that's leaking oil and every other fluid
Polluting
onto the roads than the guy that's driving the brand spanking new, super clean, whatever? Like, doesn't it seem a little backwards that guy should have to pay for the roads?
we bought our first nice vehicle in 2016, a 2016 Silverado, 1500 LTZ.
Nice truck.
Pretty much fully loaded, minus like two things.
Does it have
And-
cooled seats?
Yeah.
Oh, dude,
And
that's a
It's
life
the
changer.
greatest thing ever. And heated steering wheel.
Yes.
That is
I didn't even know
awesome.
I needed one of those till I got it in my GMC.
Yeah. So we got tabs, the renewal for it.
Oh, God.
And it was like almost $700.
Don't tell me that. 'Cause
And I'm
mine's
like-
coming up.
Is your a 1 ton?
It's the 2500.
Oh yeah, you're screwed. 1 tons are only like, it's something ridiculously cheap because they're 1 tons.
That makes sense.
It's considered a work truck, and they're taxed differently.
Well,
Yeah.
but they only put more weight on the road,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. They make more potholes, so obviously you should not pay as much.
I don't know.
What?
I don't know how that works.
For $700 for tabs?
Close to it.
That's what I'm
It was
looking
like-
at.
I thought it was like 6 something.
Oh, yeah, dude. That's
Brutal.
a whole no. That's an extra payment. That's like almost 2 payments.
Yeah, it's a couple months worth.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh,
Great.
that's
for
like
that.
a duck trip out the window.
For real.
That's
mean,
like a
that's
lot
a-
of decoys.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
That's half a good gun.
Let's not talk about decoys.
Oh, God.
My wife might listen to that.
All
Yeah,
right.
these dozen were like $1 a piece, I promise.
He's bad.
I'm not bad.
Like really
I am
bad.
an opportunist.
Like, so he's got a 3-car garage that you couldn't park your 10-speed Schwinn in because there's that many decoys.
That was
You
only
say-
for a while.
Like I'm lost.
it's-
here. I
thank
don't
you.
get this. I don't-
Someone who
You're,
recognizes.
you're saying like there's something wrong
No,
with
no, no.
this.
He's bad. Like, holy crap, dude. You might have a problem.
First off, it's not a
It's
problem.
not a problem.
So
Whenever
we
I
had
want.
an issue for a while where like we left our trailer in Canada. So all of my decoys and all our goods were up there, and it's like, well, I hunt in Minnesota too, and I'm not going up to Canada to get them, so I gotta have
gotta
two.
have decoys
then,
here.
Then we brought the trailer back, and next thing I know, I'm like, I can't breathe.
You can never have too many decoys because this falls under the category of better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it.
I heard all
just
you need
because
is-
just because you have 5,000 decoys doesn't mean you have to put every decoy out.
I heard all you
Some
need
days
is
call for little. Some days call
12,
for a lot.
12 snow geese and 50 big feet, and that's it.
Well, I'm not using Bigfoots because I think they look like shit.
Well,
That's all I heard
when
you
you
need.
start looking at those DSDs,
But that's just me.
it's over.
That's just me. I have avians. I love them.
Oh, see, avians, they're on the level. We run a lot of greenhead gears because they were good for a while, but
And I
we're
have
starting
some
to
of
rotate.
those too.
Yep.
And I stopped using them, not because of the way they look, usability.
Yeah.
Stake system versus that avian, the base that collapses into,
Yep.
dude, that's so much easier to use. It's that you load your arms up on those things, you can place them out super easy. You're not having stake set, which I still do. I have some avian lessers, and those are still a stake system, which is kind of sucks. And then when we make adjustments, I need to do that here. I've been talking about it for a couple weeks. Well, if I get a rain day, I gotta lock myself in the garage and get this done. I want to put tail loops on all my lessers.
Oh, those are so
I can,
nice.
So
You
I
just-
can carry them out.
you can carry
Yeah.
12 in each hand, no
Yep.
problem.
A handful of stakes and carry a bunch of
Yeah.
of
And
decoys in the other hand.
And silos are really coming back.
Yeah.
Like Dive Bomb,
Yo.
that makes their products look amazing. And it's like, oh, I got this small briefcase here. Oh, there's 5 dozen. And it's like, wow.
Yeah.
And,
And
you
I started
place
using
gold, place-
Silsock honkers.
Yeah,
I
sure.
bought a few Silsock honkers. Yeah, I have a pretty diverse spread. I got a bunch of shells. We got a bunch of shells.
Yeah, we just bought a bunch of sleeper shells because last season my dad lives over in Wisconsin, and we did some late season Wisconsin hunts with the sleeper shell, and it's like,
Dude,
he's
that's
like, dude, we need more sleeper shells, so we're buying them.
My
But
buddies-
honkers
my-
in your face.
My
just-
buddies get such a hard on for sleeper shells. Austin and Joel, like they just it's bordering fetish. It really is.
Have you seen my sleeper?
Like more sleeper. I'm like, I bought more sleeper shells. What the fuck do we have? Like 6 towers of these things. We rarely ever use them all. Like they just whatever. I mean, their bodies in the field. I'm down for it.
Right.
I mean, whatever.
A whole flock of narcoleptic
yeah.
geese.
Well,
I don't
but
think it
in
matters.
the winter, so like we kind of did some research because I'm not used to snow hunting those Canadas. We did some research where it said like they really like to sit on the snow till they can melt and then they eat. And
First
so
thing they do
we-
when they land in a snowfield is
Well,
plop.
they plop right
straight
down. So that's why the sleepers look so good. And then, so last year we hunted and we did okay. I mean, I think we had like 6 guys and we shot probably like 15, which is a great day for me. I love, doing whatever. But we had a lot kind of look at us because we had a lot of the big greenhead gears out.
Yeah.
And we drove by a field and we saw a bunch, and every single one was sitting on the snow. And it's like, that's when it clicked when I was like, we're buying more sleepers. Here we go. Get it ordering. And so like right now I'm expecting a shipment next week. No.
Ice
Sorry,
hunts.
Stacy. On the ice. That's a bucket list.
First ice. It's when you get walkable ice, and you got a lake that is because the geese will just stand on the fucking ice. Like these geese don't want to migrate. Like our locals, they don't. They migrate when they have to, not when they want to. They'll just stay until weather pushes them out. As long as they can get to the fields, they'll stick around. We did it last year, and it was so much fun. I had ice fishermen. They ice fishermen cut our hunt short because they were like, all right, they're kind of in the way now.
You brought tip-ups at least, right?
Yeah, we fished.
Yeah.
We fished.
see,
while
that would be-
I actually took, I don't know, it was a Snapchat or something. I'm like, and we had a pretty decent spread. We brought like otter sleds and we just packed everything and drug it out there. And then I'm like, that's pretty ice spread and we're hunting. And I get just outside the decoys and the tip-ups and we're fishing.
That's awesome.
I can't remember. I think we did get a couple flags. I don't recall if we actually caught fish or not. But
Yeah.
that
cast
was
and
cool.
blast.
That was cool.
Literally,
Yeah, that's what I
but-
said. It's like, kind of set
cast.
and blast or something. I don't know. Fishing.
Right.
Fishing.
Hunting, fishing, and loving every day. God, I hate that song.
I hate
Pretty much
Luke
hate Luke Bryan. Yeah, I can't say I hate him. Never met him. He might be the greatest guy in the world, but I'm not a big fan of his music. We'll just say that.
I'm a huge country fan.
Yeah,
but it's
real country,
prime
actual country.
Yeah.
Like
Merle Haggard,
not bro,
Willie Nelson,
not bro country,
not tractor
bro
rap.
country.
Yeah,
Yeah, tractor rap. I like that.
Tractor
I
rap.
haven't heard tractor
Hick hop.
rap. Yeah, hick hop.
Yeah.
Another good one.
Hick hop. Yeah. No, I don't mind some of it. It's weird. I can categorically say I don't like modern country or whatever.
Yeah.
But
A few songs will hit you good.
sometimes even one that might be kind of rappy, might be hip hoppy, hick hoppy or whatever. There might be something. There's always that one
Outlier.
Yeah, that just like something about it grabs me.
Dang
and
it,
I like it. It's like I don't listen to a ton of pop songs, and when this song was out, it was my like exception to the rule.
Yeah.
My Hips Don't Lie by Shakira.
Oh yeah, I like the voice in that one.
I'm like, I don't know why, but I just love this song. When it came, I was like hooked on it. Yeah, I loved it.
Something I don't remember. Shakira.
Shakira.
Yeah, that was a good song back in the day.
My Humps, Black Eyed Peas.
A guy that
lady
you should
lumps.
check out is Sturgill Simpson.
Bro,
Yeah.
on it.
Or I got a laundry list for you when we're done.
Cody Jinks.
Cody's good.
Cody's great.
Cody's
Love
good.
Cody.
I got.
Sturgill's, dude, Sturgill's a man. He's awesome.
Yeah.
Meta modern country music.
He's got a new song out.
Love it. Does he? Does he have a new
Yeah.
album coming out?
Rumor, but there's a zombie movie coming out, and he did a lot of music on it.
Really?
Look up The Dead Don't Die.
Dead
Oh, that's the
Don't
comedy?
Die.
Yeah.
Isn't it like Bill Murray
Bill
in it?
Murray's in it.
Yeah. Okay, I've seen previews for it.
Yeah.
It looks funny. I'm a big zombie movie guy, especially
Yeah.
like Zombieland was awesome.
There's a new zombie.
It's coming out.
The preview came out today.
Did it?
Yes.
Yeah,
I'll
I
have
saw it. I haven't watched
seen
it, but I saw it advertised. I haven't
I'm
had a chance
excited.
to watch it, but I am too. I like all that shit. Zombie movies are great.
Yeah.
Walking Dead fan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well,
haven't finished it.
I should say I was a really, really big Walking Dead fan for many years, and then it was oh my gosh, impossible obstacle. We overcame it. Okay, new impossible obstacle, and it's just like, all right, you're kind of
overcame
starting
it
to
again.
drag.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
all right, let's.
But they were good.
Make some progress.
I did like how like early on the few seasons like nobody was safe.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Nobody was.
Well,
safe.
I mean, it's kind of like Game of Thrones-esque where,
Yeah.
oh, I like this person.
Don't start me on that.
Better not like this person because they're about to die.
Yeah.
Like,
See, I liked Game of Thrones. We got into it late. Like we tried watching it when it was new, and for whatever reason, it didn't hook us. And then so when this final season came out and there was so much hubbub on it, we were like, we should probably try watching it again. And this time, it sucked us right in. So we're
Right.
binge watching the shit out of it. And these episodes or these seasons where people lost their mind were like all these people like they basically killed off everybody. I was like, whatever. Like.
Yeah.
I just didn't
It makes it more real. Like
Yeah.
there's no guarantees in life. It's
Right.
like we were talking,
It's not a Disney
talking about
movie.
earlier. It's it's like it doesn't matter if he's a fan favorite. He got a sword put through his head. This is how this works.
I just thought it was ended poorly.
Everybody
oh,
did.
Everybody did. You didn't even
I
have
wasn't
to,
a huge fan of how it ended, but I also was like, I could see it.
I mean, it was to me, it was way too rushed. Like the first
It was
episode,
kinda- that
table
was-
setter. Second episode, table setter. It's like,
My thing with how it ended was like, okay, you could have done it. It could have ended the same way, but it could have been done better.
absolutely.
Like it was like, and we're done. What the fuck? Like
it was happy hour and they were trying to go somewhere. Just, oh yeah, we'll just, that
let's
sounds good.
Wrap
Keep
this
going.
up. Let's go here. But the way
Brutal.
I don't want to spoil it. Maybe some people haven't.
True,
watched
fair,
it.
yeah.
I mean, it's been long enough. I shouldn't have to worry
Yeah.
about it. But I'm not gonna spoil it.
It's been at least
the way it
90
ended
days.
with the two like main characters. I actually kind of agree with that because I think that's the only way it could end.
Fair.
Because that bitch is crazy.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I made some memes off of her. Fishing related.
Really?
Yeah,
I'll have to share those. Put them on the outdoor.
I'll dig
the
them
group.
up. Go.
Put them. Post
Throw
them on
'em
the
up.
group page.
I'll dig them up.
That'd be awesome. That's pretty hilarious. We'll have to figure something out too. I would. So how would that work? Like, how do you get? Is it just donated trips, or
So-
like when it comes to like the traveling expenses, like who picks up that tab?
We would have to figure that one out.
Yep.
That's on us to figure out. Either we could help subsidize subsidize the veterans' travel, or they could take care of it themselves if need be, and we'd cover everything else.
If we wanted to do a South Carolina, shark trip or redfish trip or something like that, I mean, obviously I can donate my time and the guiding and the boat and the equipment and all that stuff. And I'll take care of the gas in the boat and any of the bait and stuff like that. We don't usually buy bait. We usually go catch it. But
that's double the fun.
Dude, I love throwing that cast net. It gives me so much joy. And everybody mocks me for it down there. They're like, they see it as a chore. Like, we got to go catch bait. I'm like, I get to throw a cast net. Fuck yeah.
I think there's a funny video of cast net fails out there somewhere that I've watched. I don't know, I'm scrolling through Facebook, watching these people getting close to drowning. I mean, you're talking about a weighted net, and you're entangled, and you're falling in the water.
I'm going to have to look that up.
You have to YouTube. I'm sure it's on there.
By far, I am not the best cast netter on the world. I only get to do it like once a year. So, I mean, it only ever gets so. I mean, I've been tempted to order a net off Amazon and just throw it off the deck here.
Practice it.
Just to get proficient at it. So when I do get to go do it, and I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
But with that said, I'm not bad. And I'm not bad enough that it frustrates my nephew who does it all the time, and I'm probably as good as he is. And he's just like, what? This isn't even right. You never do. Like once a year, and your casting's better than I am. But, yeah, that's fine. And we went with the big net this year. We went down to the Keys. Because where we fish in South Carolina, there's a lot of oyster bars. So you don't want a big net. You just rip the shit out of it. Yeah. So we use smaller nets. And so the mechanics of it they're slightly different. But down in the Keys, you want a big net. You're casting over sand and grass flats and stuff like that. So the bigger area you can. And was it pilchards? I think was the bait of choice when we were down there. And our first couple attempts just massive fails. We couldn't find the bait. We had a guide on our boat the first day we were there. And he kind of showed us, you look for the dimples in the water. Kind of looks like it's raining. You go over there, cast it. Of course, he did it. Money, easy peasy, right? Shit, we couldn't find this bait because when we go out and all of a sudden there's a wind, and so you don't see the dimples. That they're there, but you can't see them.
Sure.
Well, then we started learning how to key in on like where the birds, the pelicans will tell you.
Sure.
The key is you got to get up. Like literally, the early bird gets to worm down there because at first light, the pelicans go out, they fill their gullet, and then they go sit and digest. So if it's a day where there's a breeze and you can't see the bait dimpling the surface, there's no way to find them. And you get out there at 8, 9 o'clock after the birds are all done eating, good fucking luck. But so the one day we booked a charter, a deepwater charter, but it was only so many people could go. And so I chose to stay back. I'm like, well, I want my daughter to go and my son to go, and everybody, like, I want them to go experience that. I've done it, whatever. So let them go do it. I'll stay back. I'll fish by myself out of the boat, whatever. So now it's just me. I gotta go get bait, but I got up early, and it was kind of a day you couldn't see them running, and the water was dirty, but these pelicans were just working this shoal like crazy. I'm like, okay, I know they're here. I can't see them, but they have to be here. A couple failed attempts at the cast net, just gets caught on this. I don't throw it right. The wind was blowing like all the wrong direction. I had to like work the trolling motor in the right direction. All this by myself. Like I'm having to do all of it. I got the little remote control pod over my neck, and I'm trying to steer while loading up the net, getting ready for a cast. Like it was a challenge. But I finally got a good throw. I could hardly get that net in the boat.
Really?
There's so many, like way more than I needed. Like so many of them just died because by the time this is just me. Again, like when you have 3 people on the boat and you get it in, everybody's scooping up and putting bait in the wells, you know. But it's just me. I can only carry so many, and they're pretty fragile. I mean, once they start flopping around, they get in that net and they start losing scales. They're dead like that.
Sure.
But I was pretty stoked. That was about as much fun as the fishing I did that day. I was like, that was a good cast.
Looking around for some sign of approval.
Yes. Awesome.
What was that? Tom Hanks and when he's doing I made fire when he's like
yelling.
I made fire.
Yeah, exactly. That would. Could you imagine being in that situation?
No.
Stranded.
No.
And then finally getting fired after freezing your ass off for how many nights? Like,
Reminds me of that book.
To build a fire?
No, Gary Paulson.
Hatchet.
Hatchet.
I love Hatchet. You ever read that book?
no.
Yeah.
Man,
I need some books
how
to
did you
read.
not read Hatchet?
What's Hatchet?
Oh wait, how old are you?
He's older than
I'm
us.
old,
Yeah.
dude. I'm 46.
Oh, you're. Oh yeah, you're a little.
Basically,
bit
premise of the story is a kid's going in the Canadian wilderness with a pilot. Plane goes down, pilot dies, and all he has is like a hatchet, and he survives in the Canadian wilderness with this hatchet.
Yeah. I'll have
to look it up.
It's a great read.
It's
I've
like a
loved it.
young adult book. Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
you could breeze through it in probably
Perfect.
3
day.
I
hours.
never have time to read, but I do like to read.
I think. Oh, this is gonna sound bad. I read all 4 of them.
Well, yeah, because there's like
There's Brian's Winter, Brian's Brian's Return, Hatchet, and there's one more. But I've read them all like 3
You
times.
guys are probably like that. Are you familiar with Stephen Hunter?
the Black Light. I am not.
He's
Sounds
great.
familiar.
Dude, those books are awesome. So, Shooter, the movie Shooter.
Sure.
Yes.
With Mark Wahlberg.
Yep.
That's based on one of his books. I
Okay.
believe it's
Okay.
A Time to Kill. That book where
I
it's
probably
Bobley
love
Swagger.
it. I love those.
But it's like it's a series, and so it's like Swaggers are the family name that like so Earl Swagger is the old man, and it starts off like in the gangster days, running moonshine and stuff like that down in Arkansas in the Ouachita Mountains.
Sure.
And then goes through the time frame, and then Earl Jr. is the the kid.
Nice.
He goes and he spends time in like Vietnam and stuff like that. It's pretty badass. They're real, dude. They're awesome books.
See,
Check 'em out.
If you're into like, he really gets into like the shooting, because Earl Jr. He's a sniper, so like he gets into ballistics and all that shit. So if you dork out on that kind of stuff, you're gonna.
Just
And
love
it's
it.
legit too. It's
Yeah.
not like someone that's talking about it that shouldn't be talking about it. Like he did his homework. Like he
I wonder
did
if
all
they,
this.
they have it in audiobook.
I'm sure they do.
dude.
Dude,
Guaranteed.
audiobooks are the greatest thing
Guaranteed.
right up there with podcasts.
But I would Google I would read them in order.
Sure.
So you get because I liked the older ones better. They're all good. I mean, I like Shooter, or Time to Kill or whatever. Those were great too. But I really like the old Earl Swagger ones. Like, dude, those ones are the best. Or not, I keep calling him Junior. It's Bob Lee. Bob Lee is the son. Bob Lee Swagger is his son's name. But yeah, the Earl ones where he's driving around. There's Tommy guns and it's the old cars and it's the mobsters. That's based in legit history too, because Hot Springs, Arkansas, was Vegas before
Really?
Vegas was Vegas.
Yeah.
And we visited that a couple of years ago. That's where we went. We went down to like Lake of the Ozarks, and that was too touristy for us. And we're like, fuck this place. Let's go somewhere else. And I looked on the map. I'm like, oh, shit, Arkansas is right fucking there. I was like, oh, there's Hot Springs. And one of the books is called Hot Springs. And so we looked it up. Like, this is a badass little town. They had like a gangster museum. Like, oh, we got to go now. We got to check this shit out. And so, but yeah, then I found out, I'm like, that's like what he wrote about is like legit. They like all the ball players that go there, all the professional ball players, because they have natural springs there, and I guess like the minerals, just the earth minerals in the water, are supposed to be really good for your muscles and joints and all this shit.
That's
so like
pretty cool.
they all kind of go there resorts, but like it's a long story, but that was where all the debauchery happened: the gambling, the prostitution, the alcohol. And there's still dry counties in Arkansas to this day.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
To this day. So, I mean, having all that going down in a pretty conservative state back in the day was kind of a big deal. It was all gang run, mob run. And then it was a particular, like, DEA director or whatever came in and decided he couldn't be bought off. Because, they just paid off the governors and all that stuff up to that point. And then this guy just couldn't be bought off. And then there was these big wars. And then the mob just pulled up stakes. They found a place in the middle of the desert where nobody gave a shit. And now we have Vegas.
The Sin City.
Yep.
Right?
That's
Never
yeah,
been there.
Hot Springs was the original Sin City. Pretty cool. But anyway, yeah, those books are pretty badass.
I'll have to check them out.
Yeah. And then another book I really like, which is it's nonfiction, is if you like the outdoor themed stuff, is River of Doubt by Candace Millard.
It sounds familiar for whatever.
It's
River
the
of Doubt
last
does.
like great adventure of Theodore Roosevelt.
Oh.
And one of his sons, Kermit, was down there. Dude, they almost died like multiple times. It's unbelievable. They went to go chart this. They went to map out this uncharted tributary of the Amazon. It's a fascinating, dude. It's a page turner. Oh,
okay.
It's a fascinating book, and the fact that it reads like a fiction, and the fact that it's not, you're just like, holy shit. And this was a president. I mean, can you imagine a modern day president putting themselves? I mean, he wasn't president at the time; he was ex-president, but still, it's like, can you imagine? He was not out there doing book tours. He's out there exploring the fucking world, almost dying.
Well, that's why. He did so much comparatively to like other presidents. Yeah.
Hands down, my favorite president.
Oh.
No, nobody even comes close.
Another one for you is Call of the American Wild by Guy Grieve. It's about this
We're gonna have to
Englishman.
write this shit down.
I know. Start jotting the note.
Englishman
Where's
that
your intern?
moves
Right,
to
exactly.
Alaska and literally lives in the bush. Some idiot survives in the bush for a year. And it's a very interesting story.
That would be.
I listened to it on Audible. Like I said, I don't have a lot of free time.
Yeah.
And I think he read it. It was definitely a British guy's accent. So,
Sure.
But very cool story.
Huh. That's badass. So what do you guys have planned for the future? Or where do you
boy.
see, what's like your short-term, long-term goals for Hometown Heroes?
Short term, well, got to make it through the summer. I know
Game fair's coming up quick.
we're going to be working game
I'll be
fair.
out there.
Really? Good.
Well,
Stop by
I
and see
mean,
us.
I'm going to go. I mean, I know Premier Flight Outfitters
Yep.
will be guiding for, I hope I'm guiding for them again for snow goose hunting. They'll be out there, so I'm hoping I sit and chum with them. And,
Right.
and I want to pimp this podcast out, too, when I'm out there, try to get a bunch of guests
Sweet.
on and
Do it.
from
We'll
all.
be out there, and
we'll stop
I won't
in.
be there first weekend, but I'll be working the entire second weekend.
Yeah, I should be most mornings because my wife works, and I'm just going to try to go. Because, not only is it really beneficial for us, but, man, who as a waterfowler, who
Yeah.
doesn't love game fair?
Waterfall
Yeah.
Hill.
Gosh,
Waterfall-
talking some of
yeah.
the legends out
That's
there
where
and
we'll
stuff.
be.
Yeah.
I think.
That's where we've been the last 2 years, so
Yeah.
I'd assume we'd be at the same spot.
We have the big bow fishing trip coming up, which has already been drawn. We do launches a couple times a year on Mille Lacs.
Like Eddie's.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
we go out of McCoy's.
McCoy's.
We like them. They treat us very well. And what's nice about those is we only take like between 10 and like 15 service members, but they all get to bring a +1.
Of whoever.
Oh,
a
that's cool.
kid,
Bring your wife, your kid, your friend,
your dad, anybody.
dad, whoever. And it's a great time. We fry up burgers and hot dogs and shoot the shit and
Catch walleyes.
catch
yeah.
walleyes and take pictures and throw them back.
I mean, so many people get so butthurt over that lake. Like, well, it's not even worth going up there. You can't keep it. So
Why?
what? You're going to catch fish. You're
Why?
going to catch good
I just
fish.
I like catching fish.
That lake is chock full of trophies.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it's just chock full of trophies.
If I
I need
don't-
to go pick I have a 43-inch pike I caught there last winter, getting a replica. It's done. I just need to go pick it up.
Nice.
That's a stud.
Let's see what else we got.
We're trying to get more. Like, I'm a big duck hunter, and I love bringing guys duck hunting. But it's a lot. Not like ice fishing where I could line up 6 holes and
Yeah.
get 6 guys. But last year we did a big event. We're going to try to do another one this year, and then eventually I think I talked to a snow goose outfitter at some point and talked about doing either discounted or donate like some, and we'd buy some to kind of get somebody out there just because like you said, you get in that spring migration and you get under that cloud and that thunder. It's like feeling you can't, like you said, it can't even, you're in National Geographic.
I'm gonna bring a couple. I want to talk to a couple different guides. I want to do a pit hunt. Personally,
Heated pin.
because
Well, I'll see what I can say. I don't know if the Lifetime is willing to do something, but I can.
And remember, we're 501(c)(3). It's a charitable donation.
Yeah.
If it's a write off if people want to do that, and like that attracts a lot of people too. It's not like we're just some hunyuck organization.
Yeah, you're
we're
doing it legit. Yeah.
we're legit. So
with waterfalling is a lot of work. So if one of us to guide, we're takes a lot out of the trip of
Yep.
actually interacting
sure.
with people.
And especially with new guys who don't understand, like, hey, you have a lane and you're going to shoot this lane. You're not going to swing on
Shoot
a
your
duck.
position, yeah.
Right, and it gets tough. So, but
And
I still
waterfall
love doing it.
identification and trying to.
Just listen to your guide.
Yeah.
There you go.
If he says shoot, shoot.
That's
Yeah.
the biggest thing.
What's a shooting time? No, we won't go there.
But
I could see it, so no, that's not how it works.
That's not how it works at all.
yeah.
Which is another beautiful thing about the spring snow goose season, because that starts a half hour before sunrise
Yep.
and a half hour after.
Yeah, you
Long
basically.
term wise, I want to really work on Iowa. Iowa, we have a team that we started in Iowa not too long ago, and we're trying to build a team and get them on sure footing up there, down there. And South Dakota's next on.
I mean, getting the Midwest on lockdown, where we're I'd love for us to be like a quote household name, like, hey, hometown. Oh yeah, I've heard about them, and not only heard about us, but heard good things. For us, like, we want to portray. They had their big fallout with that Wounded Warriors, like, misuse of funds and all this craziness, and it's like we try to be as transparent as possible. We try to get people that are in need out when they need it. And that's what we want to do. So, like, we're expanding slowly. You got Wisconsin rolling, North Dakota's rolling, Iowa's rolling now. We, work into South Dakota and just, like you said, get that on lockdown and just being known for good things.
From there.
Cool.
The biggest thing is just building a solid foundation before you start rip-roaring, because if you build on weak foundation, everything kind of collapses into itself. So
That is true.
Minnesota's pretty solid.
Yeah, we have awesome contacts here. A lot of great people.
And
so.
I mean, as far as outdoor lifestyle is concerned, you got everything right here.
It's the most difficult state to be a sportsman in.
Because you're choosing.
Yeah, you have. Yeah.
You want to go duck hunt
today?
Duck, walleye, goose.
Well, we talked about
Deer,
this already.
bow hunting, yeah.
Mid-October.
It's the worst.
Shit. I don't know what I want to do.
So my dad's like, "Oh, you got to come bow hunt late October, Halloween." I was like, "Yeah, the
Halloween
greenheads are
is
down.
the day.
The
Halloween
greenheads
is
are
the day
down.
for big bucks.
Right? Yeah.
But yeah, it's also a great time to be. Actually, I've learned that around you have to really watch the moon phases.
Oh, yeah.
As far as it comes to waterfalling, because we've got screwed a few times going to North Dakota, and they'll feed all night.
With that full moon,
They'll
absolutely.
feed all night on
On
that
a
full
clear
moon, and
full
they'll
night.
just sit on the roost all day. So if you're field hunting, you might have a couple rough days. So don't go on a full moon.
Good to know.
Is the tip of the day.
So
if you're going waterfall hunting,
go troll
look
crankbaits
at that.
Yeah.
for
Go,
walleyes.
yeah. So go look at that moon phase and plan your duck hunt accordingly, field hunt accordingly,
Yeah.
because you might get burned by that. Unless it's cloudy and rainy, then you can get away with it. But
Yeah, it's good
if
weather.
it's clear and that bright moon's out, boy, you can just almost write that week off. That's gonna be tough.
Yeah. Good walleye fishing.
Yeah, for sure. If you want to fish at night,
Yeah.
which is fun. Night fishing's a good time.
Yep.
But we
Plus-
could easily. I can't believe you haven't caught a channel cat.
No, not yet.
I've
Never really
I haven't
targeted
either.
them.
I've never targeted them.
Good
Same.
Lord.
I'm gonna work on that.
I got a couple spots in the Mississippi that are just like virtually guaranteed.
Well,
There's never any guarantees in fishing.
We did a kind of a veteran trip through, like, there's a Facebook
Minnesota
group.
catfishing,
Yeah, they took a bunch of us out and got some cats. That was fun.
channel cats, and
Get
one
some flats.
flathead.
I think maybe, yeah.
It was during the spawn.
Back in, you want to talk about having too many fucking hobbies? That's this cat. But God, I used to do it all. It's so much fun, dude. Flathead fishing is just the best.
I was just there to provide a boat and try and get people out on
Yeah.
the water. I got a new to me boat last year. A lot bigger than my old one. Like that 18-foot Alaskan.
Size matters.
Yes. I can go anywhere now.
Yeah, it matters. It's like I got my 19-foot Ranger, and it's like I want a 21.
No.
I mean, it's just, especially when you start getting other people and you start running clients out of it, it's like that extra room.
That
is
helps.
Like, dude, that's everything.
I went from
A little more distance between me and the guy that doesn't know how to cast so good.
Yeah. I went from a 16-foot Alumacraft to an 18-foot Lund Alaskan side console. And I did the whole math. It's like overall length, it's like 2.5 feet longer and like 18 inches wider, and you could put so much stuff in it.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
The bigger is definitely better when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
boats.
Yes, sir.
For sure. All right, well, give your guys' contact info on how people can get a hold of you.
Sure. So we are on Facebook. We have the public page. Just quick search of Hometown Hero Outdoors. If you are a veteran, active duty, law enforcement, or military, check out our private group, which is also Hometown Hero Outdoors. You'd be asked to click join, and it might ask for your post number and or some military service record.
Just proof
some
of
sort.
service.
Yeah, proof of service. And then we're also on Instagram at Hometown Hero Outdoors.
Website,
I don't
www.hometownherooutdoors.org.
Do that right now.
Find
I don't know
us.
if I follow you on Facebook. I'm not sure.
But
I
I
have
think
you on the
that's-
gram.
That's about it. You got any questions, feel free to shoot us a message on Facebook. We'll answer as quick as possible. And, yeah.
Yeah. Please check us out. Follow us along. We're doing some pretty awesome stuff, and it's only going to get better.
Yeah, and if you're not a veteran, but hey, you think this is an awesome thing and you want to get out and donate, reach out to us. I mean, it may sound simple, but $20 goes a long ways for us because we do a lot of these. We hosted trips, and hey, that paid for our bait today. Like, good to go. And other things that we know, people that are landowners that say, hey, I got a bunch of geese out here. Or, we know a guy in Southern Maine who said, yeah, you can come shoot all the deer. You could bow hunt our property, and it's like, wow, down in the Rochester area, and it's like. Deer hunting is, it's tough to get permission, if you're, but landowners are huge, yeah. So
get a hold of us, please.
Any way possible, it goes a long way with
Sweet.
us.
I'm already following you on Instagram. Sweet.
Good to go.
Excellent. Well,
Yeah.
I'll do as much as I can. We'll have to stay in contact. I'd like to see if we can get to South Carolina something.
That would be fun.
Tons of fun. It's
We can
different.
get it done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We'll get something set up. I'll talk to my brother, see if he can line up the other boat, and we'll just figure out how many guests we can bring down there, and we'll go from there, figure out where we'll stay, and
Sure.
do stuff like that. And then
Great.
as far as here is concerned, I'll put some feelers out for a waterfowl hunt.
Sweet.
I
We'd
could definitely
love
just
that.
have you guys out sometime. I can set up a field too. I mean, I got
Yeah.
I got
Well,
the
and
stuff.
again, like he said, you basically, like, I've talked to another friend, I met, and he's like, oh, hey, I've never been goose hunting. I said, listen, if you get a field, because, like, that's the biggest problem. I said, I'll show up. I got, like, 6 blinds. I've got way too many decoys. Like, you said, not enough decoys, but I've got enough to get the job done. And I said, all you got to do is call me, and I can get a trailer there within about 4 hours, and we're good to go. So
yeah, we're good. I can line
yeah.
up fields. We can definitely set up. We'll probably set up a few hunts. This
That'd be
year. I
great.
think
We'd
we can
love
do
that. We'd
And
absolutely
then,
love that.
As far as like just me, I mean, just me and my bass boat, I can put 1 or 2 guys in there. And there's some times that I go through my Rolodex and everybody's busy. If I got an open seat, I'll just reach out to you guys.
And then we'll post it. Easy. Very
Somebody
easy.
wants to jump in for a day. I just prefer fishing with somebody than fishing by myself.
That's the other thing. And
I like the focus of it is like I found for me, if I'm not pre-fishing for a tournament or fishing a tournament or have a client, I'm almost wasting my time.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it's just not. I mean, I just don't. I get so much more out of it when I have a bigger picture
yeah.
while I'm fishing. And whether, like I said, it can be for a selfish reason, like a tournament, then I'm still focused. That's something bigger. That's a bigger target. But I love the guide, hashtag guide life. I love it. I mean, this spring, guiding snow goose hunters was just the best thing ever. I mean, it's just
Never done it.
meeting people, different people every time. And that camaraderie that we talked about, the joking, the off-color jokes.
love it. Love
With
it.
that said, I met the biggest racist of my life on it. Just like I had a hard time biting my tongue on that one.
Really? Well, I
Yeah.
suppose, like you said, you never know who you're going to meet. You meet people that never hunted before. You meet people that are like seasoned who are going to try to critique you every step.
Yeah.
My dad was a guide for many years, so I've heard all these guide stories and these people that, this decoy's angled at 45 degrees. Don't you know it's supposed to be at 15? And he's just like,
So
you say another word, I'm going to butt stroke
With
you.
the pocket level, like
Right,
in the
yeah.
purpose straight.
So,
yeah.
I mean-
But he was the exception to the rule. Everybody else was just
Awesome.
fantastic.
Awesome.
Just tell them
They're there to have a good time.
correct yourself.
Fix yourself.
Correct yourself.
Awesome. Well, and again, we couldn't thank you enough for having us on this
No,
podcast.
thank
definitely.
you guys for coming out.
This has
That's
been
great.
awesome.
Tony, I can't believe you were holding out on me the whole time when I
You
met
know,
you at the podcast. You should have mentioned something.
I was kind of keeping it.
Total pro. Yeah, because when I contacted Hometown Heroes, I didn't even know you were a part of it. And then you messaged me back. I'm like, Tony, that's the same Tony. That's got to be the same Tony. There can't be two Tony. Well, at the time I thought it was like Thessing, but it's Tessing. They can't. That's got to be him. And then I pulled up the picture. I'm like, that totally is him. What the hell? He's holding out on me.
Yeah.
He's got something to actually talk about. And I mean,
I'm
it's
just
cool.
an average guy that does pretty cool stuff.
No, this is badass, dude. This is really a really cool thing that you guys are doing, and I hope it really takes off. Let's get a chapter in every state, man. That'd be badass.
Yeah, that would be pretty.
I mean, why not? There's veterans in every state. There's
Heck
outdoor stuff to do in every state. I don't see why not. Get her done.
Do it. Rum and coke.
Anything
Let's
else? You
do
got
it.
anything else on the table you want to mention before we check out?
Ooh, Game Fair, we're raffling off Browning A-Bolt, or maybe it's an X-Bolt.
Yeah, and that's, again, we talked about how we raise money. We do a lot of raffles throughout the year. You know, we do, we had a Lund boat this last. We had a huge raffle last spring, and we're going to do it again.
We're doing a X-Bolt, 6.5 Creedmoor at Game Fair. So
stop by, find us.
Raffle.
You'll find us.
So is there a website?
Yes. www.hometownhero.
If people just want to like straight donate, can they do it right from that website?
We have we have
Yes.
PayPal, and I think it's donate@hometownherooutdoors.org is the email.
Yep.
You can either, that's how you contact us.
Is there a link to that on the website?
On the website,
Yes.
yep. There's an area to donate if anyone wants to. So
But and that website
throw
is
$10 at it, throw $20 at it, whatever. I mean,
goes a long way, like
know,
I said.
this is the day and age, where it's like, thank you for your service, everybody, which is great. I'm not taking away from that. It's a lot better than spitting on guys coming back from Vietnam back in the day, right?
I've heard the stories.
This is better. This is better.
Much.
But it's also a little too easy, to say thanks for your service. You got $10. You got a couple cups of coffee in you.
You got an open spot in your boat.
Are you really thankful for the vets?
Yeah.
Then do something for them. And it doesn't have to be Hometown Heroes. It can be like whatever. But if you are truly appreciative of people that have given them their service, do something about it. Though. I mean, it's nice to say thank you for the service. I'm not dogging that.
Yep.
Politeness is definitely better than the alternative. But with that said, throw a Happy Meal at a guy.
Right.
I mean, we're not asking for $100, but if you want to donate $100,
Man, a four-piece nugget sounds pretty good. Just saying.
Yeah, I had a bowl of cereal when I came home. I was busy as
I had a $5 pizza from whatchamacallit? Little Caesars.
pizza.
Yeah.
So, heck yeah, you should have hit a Casey's.
Casey's
gas
pizza's
station.
prime.
The gas station. They didn't have my pizza. That I stopped there
There's one at
first.
Stacy now.
Yeah, well, there's one in Anoka. I live in Andover.
Right on.
I stopped and they just had Canadian bacon, and I don't.
We always joke
garbage.
that Casey's is a pizza place that sells gas.
Yeah.
Their pizza's
It's
bomb.
good. It's really good.
It's so good.
And it pays to just get a whole pizza. We learned that too. We went like goose hunting. We stopped and there were each of us were gonna get like 2 pieces, and we're like, let's just get a whole pizza. It's like $10 cheaper.
Yeah.
Just bought a whole pizza.
Note to self.
That thing didn't have a chance.
I love their cheese.
We killed that thing like you wouldn't believe it. But let's cut you guys loose. Look out of here. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks again.
Thanks for having us.
Awesome.
I appreciate
Had a
it.
great time.
Right. Later, guys.
Cool.
Bye.